Overrated. That's what it says on the big board. You know, sometimes people use the word a little too soon, you know, before something has a chance to run its course. Now, there are certain things where it's fine to use the word overrated. Things like cats, both the animal as well as the play. Neither of them actually ever really lived up to their hype. And I said it. Go on, send the letters. That word, overrated, was used with this man earlier in the season. Donovan McNabb, a three-time Pro Bowler. After an 0-2 start, even the hometown fans were getting on his case. So what did he do? Well, he didn't sulk. He didn't fight it in the press. No, he put his head down and he went to work. Got his Eagles on an 8-game winning streak. It's tough to overrate a guy like that. But Donovan would be the first to tell you he didn't do it alone. He has a great team around him and a very good coach who, not unlike other coaches, has a very interesting fashion sense. Let's take that out of the playbook. Tonight on a national stage, the Eagles find themselves facing their biggest test yet. A very talented Miami team fighting for their postseason lives. Now, the Fins have to answer the same question tonight with their dorsals up against the wall. To quote Patrick Swayze from a small independent film, Dirty Dancing. Or, as they would say in Miami, Bailando Sucio. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Are you ready for some football?
Say lights. The NFL is a big stage tonight. A headbangers ball going down in the east. The Eagles and the Fins and a brawl at the beach. Your ticket is priced. The stars are in sight. Everyone comes to play on Monday night. Hit it. Hit it. Come on, hit it. Get on. Come on, you get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. Nationwide tour. So don't you be a tardy. Players at the ready. Alan John at the mic. All my ready friends are here for Monday nights.
70 degrees on this mid-December Monday night as you look at downtown Miami and a few miles north of I-95. Pro Players Stadium, which has hosted 3 Super Bowls, 2 World Series, and tonight coming out onto the field, the Miami Dolphins, as they get ready to take on Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles in a big Monday Night Football confrontation. Al Michaels along with John Madden and Lisa Guerrero, welcome to Miami. The Philadelphia Eagles got off to a disastrous start. Opened a new stadium, were blown out on opening night by Tampa Bay, and then the next week by New England. The fans were panicking. Fortunately for the fans, the players didn't. And mainly because of one man, that big bear of a man, their coach Andy Reid, who in a single word is unflappable. And as much as any team in the league, the Philadelphia Eagles have taken on the personality of their coach. They have now won 8 straight. They have won 10 of 11, and if they win out, they'll secure home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. Then there are the Dolphins. Go figure. They lose to Houston on opening day, win 4 in a row, appear to have the ship righted, but this team will drive their fans crazy. They look good one week, bad the next week, great one week, awful the next week. It's do or die now, though, because they need help, and they'll have to win out or at least win 2 or 3 with a lot of help to get to the playoffs. And in tonight's game, it appears real simple with the Dolphins, John. You look for number 34. You look for the guy with the dreadlocks all night, Ricky Williams.
Right, and then, you know, you're talking Miami, and are they going to play tonight like they did against Dallas on Thanksgiving, or are they going to play like they did a week ago against New England? And they feel that they're going to play like they did against Dallas, and as you said, that's a heavy dose for Ricky Williams. In fact, Dave Wannstedt said last night, he said, I don't care if we have to run Ricky Williams 40 times to win, we're going to do it. Now, they can do that. Ricky Williams will take care of his part, but that offensive line has to control the line of scrimmage, and then eventually Jay Fiedler is going to have to make some plays in the passing game.
Fiedler re-sprained his knee last week, but he will start tonight. As far as Philadelphia is concerned, for the last 2 years, they've gone to the NFC Championship game. They can't take that step. Here they are in a position to do it again. What will get them over the hump this time?
Yeah, I think think they have all the ingredients. You talk about Andy Reid being unflappable, and he'll stay that way. But the one guy is Donovan McNabb. I mean, this team is going to go the way Donovan McNabb goes. He's their leader. He's the guy that deals everything off. They need him, but not only need McNabb, they need a healthy Donovan McNabb.
He had a fabulous November, off to a good start in December, and a big game tonight. Game of the week in the NFL. In fact, on Monday Night Football, Philadelphia against Miami. Here are the FedEx ground stats for tonight's matchup. You don't have to tell defensive end Jason Taylor of the Dolphins what's at stake tonight.
I hate to use the word, but we're desperate. Yes, we have to win. And I think everyone realizes that.
In tonight's game, the Visa Skycam on hand to provide the views of all the action. And we'll be back with the kickoff right after this.
ABC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back in Miami, Dave Wannstedt concluding his 4th season as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Prior to this big game tonight, Wannstedt down on the field with Lisa Guerrero. Lisa.
There were some mighty high expectations for the Miami Dolphins at the beginning of this season. So, Dave, not winning the division had to be a huge disappointment. How, as a coach, do you take that disappointment and get your team focused on these very important next 3 regular season games?
Well, we still have 3 games left, and it's a long, obviously, part of the season. And we got to finish strong right here, and we can still accomplish. We take care of business one game at a time. The big goal, the ultimate goal is still there. So our players, we had a great week of practice. We know we got to come out here and play well, win this football game. We're looking forward to it.
Coach, this is the time of year when you really find out who your money players are. Who specifically are you counting on to step forward starting tonight?
Well, our defense has been consistent all year. Our defensive front tonight, I think stopping the run against these guys are one of the best running teams in the league, and plus trying to contain Donovan.
Thanks very much. Good luck tonight, Coach. Al, there are some major injury developments tonight for the Eagles. Pro Bowl tackle Trey Thomas suffered back spasms today. He's going to be inactive, and he will be replaced by Artis Hicks, making his first career start at left tackle.
Keep an eye on that because Hicks has started at guard, but not at tackle. So a big loss with Thomas and Olindo Mare to kick off. And we'll take a look at Artis Hicks right away because Philadelphia will get the ball as James Thrash and Sean Moore are back to receive the kick. Mare leads the NFL in touchbacks with 18. And this one will be taken at the 2-yard line by James Thrash. And Thrash is stopped up at the 21. And that's where Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia offense takes over. Here they are.
Donovan McNabb, Syracuse University.
Guerrero, Nebraska.
John Ritchie, Stanford. James Thrash, Missouri Southern.
Todd Pinkston, Southern Miss.
Chad Lewis, BYU.
Artis Hicks, University of Memphis. John Wellborn, Cal.
Hank Fraley, Robert Morris University. Bobby Williams, Arkansas. John Runyon, Michigan.
So Hicks and Runyon the tackles, and obviously your left tackle is going to be very big under any circumstance. In particular, he not only protecting the quarterback, but Philadelphia loves to throw a lot of screens.
Right, and the guy he has to block is Jason Taylor, one of the best in the NFL.
Play fake, and McNabb's going to go deep on first down, and it is caught by Todd Pinkston, who gets inside the 20 and then gets rotated back to the 25-yard line. So McNabb on the play fake right off the bat on a team that's been playing somewhat conservatively with a lot of screens and a lot of running plays begins with a 59-yard throw.
Hey, Todd Pinkston starts out here in this left side, and he's playing against number 29 is Sam Madison. And you see he gets inside right away. He gets great position. He gets behind Brock Marion, the free safety, and Donovan McNabb drops it right in there. Look at this pass protection. They help. They chip over there to Jason Taylor. They help Artis Hicks. And right here's the chip right here. And that gives Donovan McNabb just enough time to hit the big one.
On first down from the 21, McNabb to the outside, and falling over was L.J. Smith, reaching up and then falling backwards. Now, Donovan McNabb throwing deep, that was so unusual in 13 games this season. Coming into tonight's game, the Eagles have completed only one pass from the line of scrimmage to 30 yards out or beyond. Just one pass of that distance.
And you know that Donovan McNabb knows that, and Andy Reid knows that. So they think, okay, that's what Miami's expecting. And if that's what they're expecting, let's go out and hit them right off the bat.
Second down and 10, and now they run the draw. Big hole for Brian Westbrook, who gets inside the 10 and scores. And the Philadelphia Eagles in a minute and 11 seconds come in with a 59-yard bomb. An incomplete pass, and then a 21-yard run up the middle by Westbrook, the second-year man out of Villanova.
Well, they come in with 4 wide receivers, so that makes Miami think, okay, this is a passing situation. You see, they spread the defense out, and then they just take Brian Westbrook, and they give him the delay or the draw play. But that was one, a spread-out defense. But number 2, that was a poor tackling defense.
David Akers for the extra point. So the Dolphins have lived on the prowess of their defensive unit this season, and then all of a sudden, in 71 seconds, bang, 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 7-0 Eagles. The Dolphins come out in a critical game and give up a touchdown. 59 yards by McNabb through the air to Pinkston, and then 21 for Westbrook up the middle.
And what Westbrook did, as I said, he ran, you know, they went 4 wide receivers. So then the Dolphins got in a dime defense, spread them out, and they're running a draw right up the middle.
David Akers kicks. Travis Minor, who's the backup running back to Ricky Williams, and then he hands the ball off to McKnight, one of their wideouts. Out past the 30, James McKnight out to the 45. So the Dolphins try to answer it quickly, and they have good field position here near midfield. Miami has the ball for the first offensive play. And here are the starters for the Dolphins.
Jay Fiedler, Dartmouth.
Ricky Williams, the University of Texas.
Rob Conrad, Syracuse. Chris Chambers, UW.
Darius Thompson, Baylor.
Randy McMichael, Georgia.
Wade Smith, the University of Memphis. Jamie Nels, Florida A&M University.
Tim Ruddy, Notre Dame.
Todd Perry, Kentucky.
Todd Wade, Ole Miss.
Man from UW, Chris Chambers, their leading receiver. Ricky Williams, of course, is the guy they'll be feeding the ball to all night. They fake it to him here. Fiedler buys a lot of time and then throws on the run, and the pass is out of bounds. And that is Chris Chambers, number 84. Second down and 10. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia defense.
Brandon Whiting, California.
Corey Simon, Florida State.
Darwin Walker, Tennessee.
N.D. Kalu, Rice University.
Carlos Emmons, Arkansas State.
Mark Seminole, Kansas State.
Nate Wayne, Mississippi.
Troy Vincent, University of Wisconsin.
Michael Lewis, Colorado.
Brian Dawkins, Clemson.
Bobby the Blanket Taylor, Notre Dame.
Dawkins and Taylor have each missed the majority of the season with injuries, but they're back as Ricky Williams takes the ball to the 50-yard line, and it will be 3rd down and 6.
You know, when does 2nd and 10 become a running down? And it's usually after an incomplete pass. You know, you look, if you run the ball on 1st down, you don't gain any yardage, you have 2nd and long, that is usually a passing down. If you pass the ball on 1st down, incomplete, and you end up 2nd and 10, most defenses will play run in that situation.
And the Dolphins running there to set up a 3rd down and 6 at the 50-yard line. Now out of the shotgun, Jay Fiedler. 4-man rush, and it's caught, and then slipping down is James McKnight. And the question is, where are they going to put the ball? And if they put it on this side, the left side of the yellow line, that yellow line, of course, is not official, but pretty close to it. And it looks like they're going to come up short. Ron Winter is the referee, and he says, that much short, doesn't even have to bring in the chains.
Right, and Dave Wanstead has already made his decision, and the Dolphins are going to go for it.
Or at least line up to go for it.
That was interesting. The Eagles got in their dime defense, and they had Bobby Taylor, their corner, was on the tight end of the Dolphins, Randy McMichael.
And they do snap it, and Fiedler with a sneak, and he picks up the first down. So after that opening burst by the Eagles, Dave Wannstedt has to gamble here to keep the momentum going his way and picks up the first down.
You know, and that's the thing. If you say, you know, what are your offensive problems been this year? And I think part of it starts with the offensive line. They're playing a rookie left tackle. The interior of the line hasn't dominated. But third down conversions, and that's what Jay Fiedler was saying the other day. He said, we just have trouble in that area. He said, maybe if we're more successful on first and second downs, we won't have to worry about it as much.
3.5 into the game. From the 43, again, they fake it to Williams. That buys a lot of time for Fiedler, and then he throws it behind Darius Thompson. Darius Thompson is the number 2 receiver, and he was open over the middle, had found the seam, and the pass was behind him.
And Darius Thompson will have some opportunities, because when we talked to Jim Johnson last night about things they have to stop, they said number 1 is Ricky Williams. He's the guy that we have to stop. Number 2 in the passing game, it's Chris Chambers. So if someone is going to be open a lot, it should be this guy right here, Darius Thompson.
And give Michael Lewis credit there, because it was thrown behind him, and the reason was, as you could see, Lewis was able to tip it. He deflected it, altered the course of it, and causes the breakup. And this is Ricky Williams plowing ahead for a couple to the 41-yard line. The Eagle defense, and they've been racked with injuries, and Jim Johnson has been regarded for years as one of the very finest in the league. And this year in particular, missing the 2 outstanding defensive backs, decimated along the defensive line. They lost Hollis Thomas, a starter early, Grassmanis, one of their backups. The young Derek Burgess as well, but he's been able to mix and match and do certain things. And the Eagles have not given up more than 20 points since the end of September. 3rd down and 9 from the 42. And Fiedler going deep into coverage and throws the interception. It's picked off by Brian Dawkins at the 16-yard line. So the coverage was good. They bracketed the intended receiver, Gadsden, and the pass floated in the breeze.
Yeah, he's trying to get to a Randy Gadsden here. You know, he's this big wide receiver that he has a lot of confidence in, but he forced that. There was nothing there.
4.5 minutes into the first quarter. Philadelphia on top 7-0. And now they have the ball again after the Dawkins interception. And they begin this time at the 16-yard line with Deuce Staley as the running back. McNabb the fake. And then the pass is deflected and incomplete. Deflected by Junior Seau. The Eagles, 71 seconds into the quarter. And you have to go back to Ollie Matson's time in 1964 to find a faster offensive unit touchdown from the start of the game.
I mean, what a job this guy, Andy Reid, does. I mean, you know, 4 straight years in the playoffs when football is topsy-turvy and teams are winning Super Bowls and can't make the playoffs the next year, and, you know, and just steady and just keeps going. This guy always does a great job.
They give it to Carell Buckholder on 2nd down. And Andy's put together a situation where the Eagles have 3 different running backs, and they use all of them. He has Brian Westbrook, who started the game. He has Deuce Staley, who's been there for several years, and Carell Buckholter, who was hurt a couple of years ago. He uses all 3 of them. And then, of course, as you look at what they've done this season, and look at those averages, each averaging more than 4.4 yards per rush. And then you have Donovan McNabb to go with these 3. And, of course, you know what he can do when he takes off.
Right, and Andy Reid has to sell that to those 3 guys. Those 3 guys have to believe that and be unselfish. And those things are happening.
3rd down and 9, and they run a draw here. But coming up short is Brian Westbrook, so he gets stopped. They can't capitalize on the interception. Jay Williams makes the tackle, and the Eagles are forced to punt.
And this was the Dolphins are going to do. That last play there, they used a 3-man defensive line. Junior Seau is the 4th guy. And he's either going to rush, he's going to spy McNabb, or he's going to help double the back out of the backfield.
Charlie Rogers to run back the kick. It's been a major problem, both kick returns and punt returns, for Miami. It's a line drive kick by Johnson, fielded at the 29-yard line. Rodgers able to slip the first man, but not the second, and he brings it back to the 36-yard line. So a good punt there of 51 yards, 7-yard return, 9:04 left in the period. 7-0 Philadelphia. Over the years, of course, Dolphin fans have been talking about the fact they can't finish. Take a look at that, how good they've been early, and then in October they've been real good, and then in November they start to slide a little bit, and in December, and we have January with the slash there because sometimes the season will lap over. That's regular season only. But a 420 mark, Wayne Huizenga owns this team. He, of course, hired Jimmy Johnson to come in, and Jimmy able to get into the playoffs in 3 of his 4 seasons. Then Wannstedt took over, and they're always buzzing, but they can't quite get there. Williams around the corner, and he's out of bounds up at the 40-yard line. And, John, when you look at the Miami Dolphin franchise, they're still it's a cachet team. You say Dolphins, people say, yeah, they're good. I mean, through the years, you think of the perfect season and all that, but they've been just teasing their fans with major torment over the last few years.
Yeah, and you know, you feel that somewhere they have to beat that. You know, I was saying today that they have to stop talking about, you know, not being good at selling, but they can't do that because everyone else talks about it, writes about it, radio shows, television shows. But to beat it now, they have to start winning in December, or they're going to be the same old Dolphins.
It's Shula and Bob Greasy sitting upstairs, and Chambers makes the catch and stays inbounds long enough to pick up the first down. So Miami moving the chains, and they'll spot the ball at about the 43-yard line.
And Chris Chambers starts as the outside receiver, and he's going to run a crossing right. Here he is here, and he just starts across, and you just keep coming. And at some point there, on a man or a zone, there's going to be an opening or a gap or a hole, and Fiedler got it to him in that hole.
Chris Chambers, leading receiver. Number 2 pick in 2001. Dolphins have to go to a new fullback as we have action up front. You've got Ian Badejo, number 30 in. Obafemi Ian-Badejo in at fullback because Rob Conrad has been taken back with a concussion. Ron Winter is the ref.
Encroachment. Defense number 93. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Marco Coleman, former Dolphin, but John, they've got to go to the backup fullback after Conrad had been a pretty instrumental part of this offense this season.
Yeah, and that was one of the things when I talked to Norv Turner the other day. He said that he wanted to get Conrad involved in the passing game early. You know, that short passing game type of thing. And of course, he's not going to do that.
1st and 5 now. They're in Philadelphia territory at the 47-yard line. Ricky Williams swings to the outside, has a little bit of room, and gets forced out of bounds at the 40. The Dolphins, and we're talking about, as fans do down here, about the swoon. Here's what Jason Taylor had to say about it.
The thing sometimes is perception becomes reality after a while, and that's the thing that I fear most with guys that maybe aren't real mentally strong, mentally tough enough to deal with it anyway. They hear it all the time that the Dolphins fold in December, and you know there's always problems in the cold in December. You know, all the things that come along with the whole December swoon, and I think sometimes that can creep in people's minds.
Don't have to worry about the cold tonight. Last week, of course, was a different story. The snow in New England, and Williams gets rocked down. Mark Simoneau came over from the Falcons, knocks him back at the line of scrimmage, 2nd down.
You know, Ricky Williams was telling me the other day that he likes to run in that A gap, and that A gap is the gap between the center and the guard. And he said it's been tougher this year. He said it's been clogged up. It's this gap right here and this gap right here. So he'll start out here and then come back into the gap here or come back into the gap there. And he said every time I do it this year, they're clogging it up. And you saw Mark Simoneau do exactly that on that last play.
Travis Minor is the back now. Ricky takes himself out when he gets tired or when he gets clocked. And the pass is thrown and caught inside the 5. And down at the 1 is Chambers. A beautiful grab. Despite good coverage by Troy Vincent. Perfect pass. 38 yards. 1st and goal, Miami.
And that was the one that Jim Johnson was saying, this is the guy we have to worry about. Ricky Williams wasn't even in there, so now he has to become the #1 guy. He says we want to double him more. They didn't double him. They left Troy Vincent, who's a Pro Bowl corner, on him, and Chris Chambers just beat Troy Vincent.
These two guys each went to Wisconsin, but years apart. They've never played against each other. They know each other. Got to talk a lot during the offseason. Vincent in his 12th year, a former Dolphin. Chambers in his 3rd, has just made it first and goal at the 1. Ricky Williams is back in the game. Fiedler to sneak it in. He gets there. Touchdown. 63 yards, 6 plays, and a little over 3 minutes to get him right back in it quickly.
And that's what we're talking about. We know it's going to be Ricky Williams, but Jay Fiedler has to make plays. He made a big one on the throw to Chris Chambers, and then he put the period on the sentence right there in the quarterback sneak.
I say right back in. Not that they're out of it, down by a touchdown, but when the game starts the way it did, with that quick Philadelphia strike and an interception, you begin to wonder. But it's 7-7 now with 5:49 remaining in the opening quarter in Miami. Next Monday night, we go to Oakland, and the Green Bay Packers right back in contention for a playoff spot. In fact, if the season ended right now, they'd be in. They'll take on the Raiders. And then Saturday on ESPN, a special primetime game, New England visiting the New York Jets. Lindo Mare's kickoff is a liner that lands on the field. I've never seen a kick that low go that far. I mean, it goes from his own 35 on the fly to the 3. That's almost impossible.
That's the way you hit a golf ball in Ireland, isn't it?
That's a 1 iron. That's a half an iron. Donovan McNabb by the month. September, those 2 losses, of course, factored in, plus they had a bye week. They were 1-2. In October, 3-1 record, but the pass rating was still very low. And then he really got hot. Over 100 pass rating in November and unbeaten. And then 1-0 in December, that being the win last week against Dallas. From the 20-yard line, flag is thrown, and the ball is given to Brian Westbrook. And he stopped for a loss of 3 by Adewale Ogunleye.
He's done a good job of Ogunleye. You know, you always think of Jason Taylor on the right side. Wally Ogunleye playing that left end. That gives them a heck of a pair of defensive ends. And the thing that they worry about is those guys love to get up the field. With Donovan McNabb running inside, what they're trying to do is take both their defensive ends and just get them up the field about 5 to 6 yards, squeeze the pocket, rather than running around the beltway at about 10 yards deep.
Second down and 12, no flag on the play. Just a piece of equipment flying across the screen. Second and 12. As McNabb throws, caught on the run by Westbrook over the middle. And Westbrook gets up to the 30-yard line and close to a first down. Donovan McNabb, their number 1 pick in 1999. And just to recap, take a look at that. The lowest pass rating in the league among the starters. And then November and December, he has the 2nd highest pass rating since the 1st of November. The only guy with a better mark over that period of time would be Trent Green of Kansas City.
Donovan McNabb will play with injuries. Remember, he had that thumb injury early, and that was a big part of it.
Still bothers him from the 31-yard line, but he doesn't moan about it. McNabb looking and throwing, and it's caught in traffic by Todd Pinkston, and he gets taken down by Thomas and then whacked by Jason Taylor, who are brothers-in-law, as it were, at the 50-yard line. First down.
That is a heck of a play by Jason Taylor. When you're a defensive lineman and you can start off and you're rushing the passer, and then after you rush the passer right here, then he starts to scramble. You scramble with him. He throws the ball downfield. You run all the way downfield and make the collision at the end of the play. That is a heck of a play. Watch Jason Taylor here, number 99. That's why you like active defensive linemen.
Taylor's married to Thomas's sister. We'll talk about that during the offseason, the family functions, as Westbrook is taken down 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage by Thomas and Taylor again.
You know, and that's the thing that you need, is you need speed on defense when you're playing a running quarterback. And if you don't have speed, guys that can catch a Donovan McNabb, he'll just kill you with his running. I mean, not only his running with the ball, but his running and throwing the ball. It's just his movement. But the Miami Dolphins defense has guys that can stay up with him.
3 minutes remaining in the opening period. 7-7. From the 49, they blitz. Flip it on the screen to Westbrook. And then Thomas slowed up, and it gets forced out of bounds by Patrick Surtain at about the 45-yard line. They'll be about 5 yards shy of a first down.
I think Donovan McNabb got too deep on that one because Artis Hicks tries to take Jason Taylor around the corner, and he blocks him right into McNabb. And McNabb was able to move a little to the right and get that screen pass off. Philadelphia right now in their offense probably runs more screen passes than anyone in the NFL.
They have the guys who can do it. 3rd down and 5. And they have a coach who loves to do it. Here they come. It's an all-out jailbreak. And it's caught by Thrash. And that's the penalty you pay when you send everybody. Inside the 10, flag comes in. He gets down to the 1. They sent, I think, 8 or 9 guys.
Right, and it all started with a 3-man line. And they brought the full blitz. And then, as you say, when they complete the pass, then you still have a chance to make the tackle. Patrick Surtain missed the tackle. They were going to go after him. No, I mean, you start off with a 3-man line. They don't do a lot of that. You think it's going to be a prevent type situation. So instead of going soft, they go very hard. And this is hard. When you bring the whole kitchen, they bring everyone. They get it picked up. McNabb gets it off. And now when you do get that ball off, you're going to have a lot of open room. But someone has to make the tackle. Right there, Patrick Surtain missed that tackle.
And then the face mask as well. It was a 44-yard gain. Face mask only cost him about 10 inches. The ball just off the goal line. 1st and goal for Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was the thing that Dave Wanstead said yesterday. He said, we have to tackle, and they haven't been doing it thus far.
Miami has the best red zone defense in the league. And this is really the ultimate challenge for him. And the pass is dropped in the end zone. The pressure was on, and then Smith, the rookie tight end, L.J. Smith, and remember it was Smith, slow in getting up, who dropped a pass in the end zone on opening night against Tampa Bay, but he did score last week against Dallas, a big touchdown.
West Junior Seau, he gets down here in a 3-point stance, and he's going to get the penetration right there. And we talk about McNabb and being able to throw and run, but look how strong he is. I mean, Junior Seau had him. He was around his waist, and Donovan McNabb still made that throw.
So Smith is still down, but for Miami, Jason Taylor is down.
Yeah, that's the thing right there. You know about McNabb, you say, we got him, and then you don't got him.
And there's Taylor still on all fours. So the tight end coming out for Philadelphia, he's shaken up on the play. And Taylor shaken up for Miami. And in a situation like this, even though he's getting up because of an injury timeout, he has to come off for at least 1 play.
Remember the first game of the season we did, and L.J. Smith dropped the touchdown pass. I mean, that was a lot easier. That first game was a lot easier pass that he dropped than that one there that he just dropped.
He said he couldn't go home and watch television. Never wanted to see it again. Staley and Ritchie are the split backs. And it's McNabb taking it himself and into the end zone. So Donovan just bulls his way across the goal line, and Philadelphia has the lead again.
And that's another face of Donovan McNabb, and we talk about him running and throwing. But the other thing, remember the Green Bay game? He can run the ball like a fullback. So here he has an advantage right here. If you need a guy to quarterback sneak, he's as good as there is because, you know, he's big and he's strong. Watch, I mean, he can just take it and just push the pile. That's what I was saying, you know, when we were talking earlier about, you know, what do the Eagles have to do to go all the way? I think it's just keep that guy healthy.
He couldn't last year. Remember, he fractured his fibula in November and then did come back in the playoffs. But it clearly wasn't 100%. Akers for the point after with Coy Detmer holding. And with 1:53 remaining in the period, Donovan McNabb gets into the end zone. So each quarterback has scored tonight. Little early celebration for the former Syracuse Orangemen. 14-7 Eagles. Larry Zonka, 68 through 74. Then he went to the World League, came back in 79. Man who played, of course, on the the championship team, the undefeated team, back-to-back Super Bowls, 17-0 and 72.
Boy, was he tough to tackle. Well, number 39, you know, he used to run straight up. He'd come in line, you'd start hitting him in the neck, the shoulders, the stomach, the hip, the knee, and you'd finally get him to say, hey, we got him. He'd look over to be 2nd and 2.
Travis Minor from the 2-yard line. Back up to the 31, and let's check in with Lisa.
Al J. Fiedler originally sprained his left MCL 6 weeks ago, and since then he has been the first player into the training room every single morning at 6:30 a.m. Now, I heard something very, very interesting from Dolphins head trainer Kevin O'Neill, who told me although the injury is uncomfortable, pain medication is out of the question. He said that you've got to be careful about what you give a quarterback in terms of medication on game days. Even over-the-counter pain relief could slow down the reaction time, and unlike other positions, that's something a quarterback simply can't afford.
Never quite thought of it in those terms. At the 30-yard line, Fiedler throwing, and that is caught by Darius Thompson, but was he in bounds? No, he was out of bounds is the call. Field judge comes in and says he's out.
The quarterbacks have to go out there by themselves, and the place that he is getting help, though, is his left knee. It's his MCL, and he has a brace on his left knee. Do you see the catch? Oh, he didn't get that left foot down, did he?
He didn't.
He got the right foot down, and usually you want to drag that second or left foot. And well, he didn't drag him. I don't know that he didn't have it down before he had to drag it.
And it was clearly across the field, 53 1/3 yards from the other sideline. Occupied by the Dolphins as Williams takes him into Eagle territory. Being chased and finally thrust out of bounds by Brian Dawkins. So Ricky Williams breaks a huge one, 45 yards.
And Ricky Williams finally got that A gap that he was looking for. He starts off to the right. They had 8 men in the box. They had that 8th guy up there. They missed a tackle, and Ricky Williams makes a big play. Again, here's the A gap here, the A gap here. He's going to start one way and then hit exactly this. See, he starts to the right, and then he cuts it right back there. That's the gap that he wants to get into. Again, they had the 8 men up. When you get by that 8 men, if you can do that, you're going to get a long run.
By far his longest run of the year. The prior high was 28 yards. That's 45. And Fiedler throws, and that is caught by Chambers. He got it at the 8-yard line like Willie Mays, like a basket catch. Beautiful footwork to keep his feet in bounds, pull it in, set up a 1st and goal.
That was one of the most relaxed catches I've ever seen. Watch him here. He's on Bobby Taylor. He's going to run up. He makes a little move to the inside. Then he goes to the outside, and he just relaxes his hands, leaves them down there. He didn't even bend over to look at that thing.
Beautiful play. Knew where his feet were, makes the grab.
Oh, we got a barn burner here
so far. Travis Minor is the tailback. He takes the ball, and Ricky Williams back up. Runs into Carlos Emmons, the outside linebacker at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I think we're seeing more and more of that where they let players, you know, running backs that carry the ball all the time where there's only one running back like Ricky Williams. They let them kind of manage themselves. Now, one part of me says that's pretty good. The coaching part of me says, hey, when we get down here, I want Ricky Williams on the field. I want him to run the ball.
Well, Minor took it from the 5 where he was banged hard all the way down to the 3. It'll be 2nd and goal when the 2nd period begins. End of the 1st quarter. Good one thus far. Philadelphia 14, Miami 7, and Monday Night Football resumes after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Al Michaels, John Madden, Lisa Guerrero, welcome back to Miami. Start of the 2nd quarter, Philly on top 14-7. But that's not a good sight for Miami. Ricky Williams was shaken up, has a baseball cap on the sideline. Travis Minor is the running back, and on 2nd down and goal, Minor gets into the end zone. So the Miami Dolphins answer the Philadelphia drive with a 70-yard march of their own. 5 plays. Chambers with a great catch along the sideline to set up a 1st and goal, and they're an extra point away from tying the game.
Plus that big run by Ricky Williams, and I think that's a play. He must have gotten hurt on that play. I thought it was just tired, and then I watched him. He had his helmet on. Then he took his helmet off, kind of threw it down and put a baseball cap on.
Murray for the extra point, which is just good, just inside the left upright after Minor's first rushing touchdown of the season.
And we talk about Ricky Williams and how he likes to get in that A gap. The other place they like to run is to bounce it outside. Now watch Travis Minor here. He just takes this one outside. They kick out the outside guy, lead up inside. He has the patience just to wait for his blocker right there and then follow him in.
Well, John, right now, the Miami Dolphins, with the score tied, are minus Ricky Williams, and we'll check on that, and also minus their fullback, Rob Conrad.
Let's look at Ricky Williams' run again and see if we can see anything happen. See, he broke by the 8th guy. Now, he's out there in the middle of the field. It looks like Brian Dawkins is going to hit him right there just as he goes out of bounds, and then maybe another hit someplace.
All right, Lisa, what do you know?
Well, word from the Miami sidelines is that Ricky Williams has a left shoulder injury, but he will probably return.
There he is walking around, so clearly it happened on the play at the end of the play when he went down. Let's watch him go down on that shoulder.
Left shoulder right there, and that's exactly what it is. Brian Dawkins was one-on-one with him there in the open field after he broke by that 8th guy. Brian Dawkins came across, he kind of took him out of bounds.
Mare's kick, and again, he leads the league in touchbacks, but this won't be one because James Thrash is going to bring it back from 3 yards deep. And he's tackled up at the 25-yard line. Well, you've got 2 very good defensive units, but look at this. You already have in this game 305 total yards in 15 minutes, 11 seconds.
You know, the thing is, neither one of these offenses have been big play offenses, but in this first half, both sides have had big plays. Both runs by the Dolphins and passes by both teams.
Philadelphia scored first. Miami countered. Philly scored again. Miami countered. Jason Taylor is back in the game. He was shaken up on the last drive, the defensive end. And Jason just wants you to know he is back in the game.
I'll tell you, you talk about a fill, too. You have Jason Taylor. He has the outside. And Junior Seau, you can see him going and congratulating Jason Taylor there. He took the inside. So you can't get to the outside, and there's nothing inside. But Jason Taylor here, he's on Artis Hicks, and you're just going to see him beat him right here. See, he just starts up the field, and then he comes right back in. That's the thing that Dave Wanstead was talking about when you said squeeze the pocket. You have to squeeze the pocket on your pass rush and squeeze it for the draw play.
Taylor, no stranger to the Pro Bowl. Might wind up there again this year. 2nd down and 10. McNabb escaping, throwing, going forward, and it is caught by Mike Bartram at the, or rather Chad Lewis at the 40-yard line for a 1st down. So Lewis, the tight end, makes the catch, and that is where McNabb is so dangerous when he takes off and moves forward. There is no quarterback in the league close to McNabb, and there it's illustrated right there. 102.1 pass rating when running forward.
But look how strong he is, too. You know, I mean, here, the pocket, there's nothing there. He runs out of the pocket. I mean, you can't just grab him. I mean, you can't ham tackle. You can't arm tackle him. You have to run through him, because if you don't run through him, he's going to run through you like he just did. And then after all that, watch him. I mean, he got the speed, the quickness, the strength, the eyes, and the arm to throw it.
It's going to be challenged by Miami. So Dave Wanstead's going to challenge that the ball hit the ground first. And we'll see if it'll be a 15-yard gain or just 2nd and 10. John Winter is still observing. We've been taking a look at the replays and commercial here, and we'll show you what we see. And there's nothing to indicate they can overturn this because none of these replays would indicate that it wasn't a catch. And, of course, that's the ruling on the field. Lewis appears to get both hands under it and then rolls over, and Winter has to see something that clearly shows that the ball hit the ground first or he didn't have possession of the ball, and you really don't see it, John.
You know, and all these receivers are doing this now. I've noticed when they get those low passes in the ground, they're rolling over to show you that they have the ball and they have control of it.
A little short hop, but the short hop came, I think, from his elbows or the inner part of his forearms. Here's
After
Winter.
review, the ruling on the field stands. The receiver had 2 hands under the ball. Ball was never touched the ground. Miami is charged with a timeout.
So when you lose a challenge, you not only lose a timeout, but you lose a challenge. You get 2 per game, so he's down to 1. Lewis makes the grab. We're talking about McNabb, and when he goes forward, his pass rating 102. Just for comparative purposes, the rest of the league, when a quarterback moves forward, the pass rating is 70. So Donovan really does it like nobody else.
Well, you know, he's so big and strong and fast that he puts you in a bind when he starts to run. You don't know, do I come up to tackle him or do I play soft and stay back because he might throw it? And a lot of times you get in no man's land.
Absolutely. First down from the 40, there's a penalty. And Staley to a chorus of Deuce and a lot of Philadelphians and Pennsylvanians who made their way south here in mid-December. Does a little spin with the football, and it will count because it's offside against Miami. 22-yard gain.
I thought this Miami defense was a better tackling defense than this.
Defense number 64. The penalties decline. The play results in a first down.
Larry Chester.
Yeah, 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs is a formation they're in. This is Deuce Staley's formation. Look at this cut, though. I mean, he cuts, finds that hole, and bursts.
22 yards for number 22. McNabb moving forward again. This time he'll pack it in, but not very far as he just goes to the turf when he takes one peek at number 55. One Junior Seau, 13 years at San Diego. And then coming over to Miami, and all indications are Junior is not done. He'll play at least another year here.
No, and you look at Junior, he looks like he got some juice back in him again. I thought that at San Diego, you know, a year or so ago, when he was hurt, he was kind of down. He wasn't the same old Junior Seau. Early in the season, I didn't think he was. But towards the end of the season, he's starting to look like the old Junior Seau.
2nd and 9, Brock Marion, the safety, just came limping off. A little swing pass out to John Ritchie, the fullback, and the former Stanford Cardinal and Oakland Raider is out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Junior Seau is there to make that tackle, and they work on Marion.
You know, and that's old. That's the old John Ritchie bone right there. You know, John Ritchie's in there, and he just blocks most of the time. And you finally say, well, you know, we have 3 running backs, and we hand the ball to. We're not going to hand it to him, and we finally have to give him something. So it's a little swing pass.
And it's productive. Arturo Freeman replaces Marion. Meanwhile, Tim Bowens, who came in with a strained calf, the defensive tackle, is also back on the Dolphin bench. His return is questionable, and they pick up the first down in the 3rd and 1 with James Thrash making the catch at the 26-yard line. First down.
Yeah, as you were saying, Tim Bowens had that calf injury and had been out, missed last week. And then they thought that he'd be fine today. And I think he kind of tweaked it in the pregame warm-up because after the pregame warm-up, they weren't sure if he was going to be able to play or not. And I would imagine that he re-injured that calf.
There he is. They've had a lot of success with Jeff Scanina, his backup. But one of the reasons Scanina's been so successful is they're able to rotate him in. But now Scanina's going to have to take on a heavier workload, number 92. 1st and 10. At the 25-yard line. And a pass behind the line of scrimmage to Mitchell so he can throw it, and he will. And leaping up is Westbrook, and he takes it away from Thomas for the touchdown. Right out of the schoolyard.
Oh, and the heck drew that one up. And you're right, that first pass could not be a forward pass. It has to be a lateral. So you watch that. And he comes out, and he's going to throw it out here behind the line of scrimmage in a lateral. Now after you have a lateral, then you can have another forward pass or a forward pass.
And then you've got the linebacker Thomas on Westbrook. Great grab, great concentration, and Philly has the lead again.
And Brian Westbrook on that play, he started in the backfield.
Akers for the point after. So a wild one. About 4 minutes into the second quarter. Philadelphia 21, Miami 14. Samuel and Wilma McNabb from Chicago. Parents, proud parents right there. They're watching their kid go 8 of 11 for 169 yards. And he's also had a rushing touchdown. Travis Minor will run it back from the 5-yard line. And he brings it back to the 27-yard line and back to the touchdown. And Mitchell's first completion. He's 1 for 3 in his career now with the touchdowns.
See, Freddie Mitchell starts on the right side, comes in motion, works back, gets the lateral, then makes a heck of a throw over here to Brian Westbrook, who starts out in the backfield, runs the swing on the middle linebacker, Zach Thomas.
Mitchell starting to play a lot better this year. He's been a disappointment, a #1 pick out of UCLA, but having his best year, and Ricky Williams is back in the game despite the banged up shoulder at the 27-yard line. Fiedler to the outside and a little too high for Chambers, who was there in front of Vincent. Couldn't hold it in. You know, talking about Ricky Williams, John, and that 45-yard burst, and that's what they're going to need, because coming into the game, he was averaging only 3.3 yards per carry. That's very low. I mean, think of it this way. If you do the math, if you average 3.3 yards a carry, and you carry the ball 30 times, you still don't get to 100.
Yeah, and I don't think that's Ricky Williams, though. I think Ricky Williams is bringing everything he has, and is a heck of a back. I think it's that offensive line where they're not making holes for him.
2nd and 10 from the 27. Backside screen floats, and then paying the price is Ricky Williams, and that's Nate Wayne, who saves his best from Monday Night Football. He's been phenomenal through the years as a Green Bay Packer and now as an Eagle, and he played a tremendous game against his old Packers on a Monday night about a month and a half ago. 5-yard loss.
And Nate Wayne sees all those screens and passes, because there's no one that runs more screens than the Philadelphia Eagles. So when you see this, you see a fake, a play pass, and you feel that back, that he's not blocking, he's not going downfield, he's sliding out there for the screen. You just slide right down there with him. Zach Thomas had a man-for-man. That's his guy.
3rd down and 15 out of the shotgun, where Minor replaces Williams here, and they give it to Travis Minor, so they're going to run the ball. He needs 15, and he'll come up with about 12. Michael Lewis makes the tackle. And now Miami is forced to punt. Last week, Matt Turk set a franchise record. He punted 11 times at New England. And one thing I know for certain, John, you punt 11 times, chances are you're not going to win the game.
You're not going to win the game, and then that goes back to that 3rd down conversion. You weren't very good in that area, and that's been an offensive problem for these Dolphins.
Turk in his 9th year out of Wisconsin Whitewater. Yep, Whitewater is back. High floating kick. Bounces at the 34 and takes a big eagle hop. It's an 8-yard eagle hop back to the 42-yard line. 24-yard punt after it initially had gone 32. A look at Miami on this balmy Monday night. 7-point Eagle lead. Eagles ready to start this drive, and while we're in commercial, Ricky Williams went back into the locker room. He was shaken again after the last screen pass. Was favoring his left shoulder. They're checking him out in the locker room. So right now, the Dolphins are minus their starting running back and minus their starting fullback, Conrad, who went out with a concussion.
And right now on defense, they're minus their starting free safety, Brock Marion.
And Bowens, the starting tackle. And McNabb, they get him by the shirt, and he gets the pass away. And that was Jess Scanina, the guy playing for Bowens right now, who almost got him down. 2nd and 10 with 9:07 to go in the opening half.
Yeah, the thing is, you always talk about rushing the quarterback, and you want to get on the quarterback, but you also have to get him to the ground. As Brock Marion, we see the free safety that we said was out, just came back on the field.
2nd and 10.
Brock Marion's a good player. I mean, he's one of those guys that, for the most part, is a good tackler, tough guy, good center fielder. In with Dallas and here with Miami.
11 years in the league. 2nd down and 10.
6 kids.
6 kids.
11 years in the league with 6 kids. He has to lead the league in number of kids.
You need 11 years in the league to pay for 6 kids. Timeout, Philadelphia. To Oakland we go next Monday night, where the Raiders will host the Green Bay Packers. The Packers in Minnesota right now are each 8-6, vying for the NFC North title. Minnesota owns that tiebreak, but if the season ended right now, Green Bay would have the 6th seed. They'd be in, and Seattle would be out. But Green Bay at Oakland, big game for the Packers next Monday night. 2nd down and 10 now. After the timeout from the 42, and it may have been tipped, and the pass is incomplete, intended for LJ, and picked off. LJ Smith lost it, and then Zach Thomas went to the ground and is able to pick it up before it hits the grass.
Yeah, if you're active, you're going to make plays like that, and that's what Zach Thomas is. You talk about an active guy. If you run, he's right up there in the hole. If you pass, he's backing up. You know, you come, I come, you go, I go. He just drops back there. He's just zone and play in the middle. Anything that comes in that area, and look what he just found.
This may have been tipped at the line, and I think it was, and then it's off his foot. And Thomas with the interception.
That's exactly what it was. The ball hit him in the foot, and Zach Thomas is just sitting back there. The ball bounces up, and it comes right to him.
And Andy Reid waiting for word from upstairs. Should I challenge? Should I not? And they see that, well, now he's going to challenge. Because now Reid and the guys upstairs, I would think, may have looked at that and have seen or saw enough to say it's worth the challenge, especially on a turnover.
Yeah, there's a fine line between the foot and the ground, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, if you hit that foot, obviously you have to come close to the ground.
Philadelphia's challenge rolling on the field, but the pass was intercepted.
When I say the guys upstairs, of course, the guys upstairs have control over it in the last 2 minutes. The guys upstairs in this instance are the assistant coaches who look at the monitors.
Heads-up play there by Zach Thomas. Now, whether that ball hit any of the ground, I don't think so there. It looks like it just hits L.J. Smith right on the right foot.
Yeah, there's nothing to indicate. And the way it springs up in the air, too, would indicate it went off the shoe.
Yeah, it did take a high hop. This one here will show it.
Yeah, I think
that's it.
Yeah, because the way it caroms off the foot.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Kick save and a beauty.
That ball didn't hit the ground. We have such a good shot of it. We can just keep going back and forth like that, and that's all anyone has to look at, huh?
Yeah, well, that's what Ron Winter is going to look at in the hood right now. Thomas with what would be an interception at the 50-yard line.
Look at McNabb. He threw that ball down there. I mean, he got over the top of it, and he just brought it right down. I wonder if they're looking to see if Zach Thomas, when he caught the ball, if it didn't hit the ground.
You know, now you look at that, and does a part of the ball hit the ground? I mean, that's the decision that Winter's going to have to make right now. Because when you look at it from that angle, it appears that a part of the football, at least, is on the grass. When you look at it from that angle that you're seeing right now, it appears to come caroming straight off his foot.
I think it just hit him right in the left foot.
This is one of the more interesting calls we've seen this season in terms of a challenge. It's not, I don't think it's totally conclusive either way, but again, the call on the field is what would have to be overturned, and Winter has to see enough evidence to overturn it by what he's just seen in the monitor. So here he comes.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball hit the receiver's foot and was intercepted by Miami.
You like that first angle.
Yeah. First down.
That one where it just rocked back and forth and back and forth. He was watching that one. He said, yep, that's it.
Yep.
Zach Thomas has said, I got us one, and that's one we needed.
He's in the other one. It looked like it might have hit the ground, but might have doesn't get you the overturn. You have to see it conclusively.
And McNabb threw that ball low, and L.J. Smith, you have to go down with it. I mean, he didn't get his hands down there.
So now you've got Travis Minor picking up two, and that, of course, cost Philadelphia a timeout and a challenge. So each team has lost a challenge, and they're down to one for the rest of the game apiece. Meanwhile, Ricky Williams is out because of this play.
Yeah, it's that long run. Brian Dawkins comes over and tackles him, and he goes right down on his left shoulder.
And then that was the scene he came back in the game, and that was him coming off after that screen pass, and now he's back in the locker room. Second down and 9 now at the 48-yard line. Screen caught by Randy McMichael, the tight end, and McMichael gets to the 41-yard line where he's tackled by Carlos Emmons.
That's an interesting screen when you kind of roll to the right and you screen back to your tight end to the left. And what you do is your quarterback starts out going right. That invites the defense to come to this side. See the running back, quarterback, you bring everyone over to this side, then you stop and throw back all the way across the field to your tight end. Good hustle by that Eagle defense.
Well, Williams is back on the sideline, working on his equipment. Third down and a short three. Fiedler out of the shotgun. Eagles show blitz. Here they come. He gets it away in a hurry, does Fiedler, and connects for a first down with a run to Gadsden, who played here for years, then received an injury settlement and was waived, and they re-signed him a couple of weeks ago and put him back in the lineup.
Hey, Jay Fiedler did a great job of getting that ball out of there because it was a blitz. And you know one thing, as you get on this side of the 50 and you're going in, you're going to get more blitz than you do out on the other end of the field. Jay Fiedler gets back in shotgun, feels and sees a blitz, knows he has to get it out there, and gets it out to Gadsden.
Travis Minor in his third year, he was a third-round pick in the 2001 draft. Dolphins drafted him out of Florida State, and then when they got him and Ricky Williams is coming back in, and the crowd sees that and applauds him. So Minor reduced to a minor role.
You know, and earlier Lisa was saying that, you know, sometimes you can't give a quarterback medicine. You can give a running back some medicine.
Did Ken Stabler ever take medicine?
No, not anything that would slow you down. I mean, maybe a shot in the knee or something.
Nothing over a drugstore counter anyway. And that is incomplete. Randy McMichael hit by Mark Simoneau. You know, it's a funny thing. If the Dolphins win this game, and this is a critical game, they will really earn it, because clearly the guy they had to bank on tonight is Ricky Williams, and Williams only has 6 carries, and you don't know how many he's going to be able to wind up with tonight.
You know, and you look at these teams coming in, and you know, Philadelphia usually doesn't start fast, and they kind of come on in the third and fourth quarter. They start fast. The offense kind of surprised it. And then the Miami offense is also surprising me. You know, you think that it's going to be about defense, and this has been about offense and big plays.
On both sides, third down and 7. A little more than 6 minutes to play in the half. Fiedler under pressure, and the pass is incomplete. So Fiedler goes down. Sheldon Brown on the corner blitz decks him. Brown made a big interception last week to spearhead that win over Dallas.
Yeah, one thing about Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, and you see Sheldon Brown here, he's just up there like he's covering the slot, and he just comes in the blitz. Jim Johnson doesn't care. You know, you can say, well, you know, they caught you on the blitz, they got a big play in your blitz. He doesn't care. He's going to keep blitzing you.
Reese and Brown both got there together. It's fourth down, and the Dolphins are going to pass up a 50-yard Mare field goal attempt, lining up to go for it. The Eagles weren't set defensively, all kinds of gesticulations going on, and it's incomplete. Intended, I think, for Oronde Gadsden, but not even close.
And that's one thing about Jay Fiedler. He's not the most accurate. I mean, he's a good competitor. He can make a play here and there. If he gets in a rhythm, he can keep things going. But you think that he's real accurate. He is not real accurate.
And Fiedler tonight is 7 out of 15. There are the numbers.
I think that was probably in one of those areas where Dave Wanstead said, well, I don't know if we can make the kick. It's a chance. I don't want to punt in this area. What the heck? We may as well go for it on 4th down. I'm not exactly sure of that.
Yeah, because he's got a guy who can kick a 49-yard field goal. As Terrell Buckholder gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and it's too early in the game to say, well, we're down by 7. We need 7. You don't. You just, as you go in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, you just accumulate points. You don't worry about, 3s and 7s at this time.
So Dave Wanstead, as you look at Olindo Mare, the downside to that would have been you give Philadelphia the ball at the 40, but they didn't make it anyway on 4th and 7, so you gave it to them at the 32. 2nd and 10 now from the 31-yard line. The ball is handed off to Deuce Staley. And Deuce, and again, a lot of Philadelphians here. That's the sound he would hear in Philadelphia. Deuce to the 44-yard line.
I was just going to say, how many Philadelphia Eagle fans do you think are here?
Well, I saw a whole bunch last night at Joe Stonecrab, so.
I saw a whole bunch when I came in here tonight, and Dave Wanstead was saying that this is the toughest ticket they've had since that 85 game against the Chicago Bears, and because there's so many people from Philadelphia or from up north down here at this time of year.
1st and 10. I heard the full chorus of Fly Eagles fly about 11 times last night. Terrell Buckholter. I think that's a good fight song, though. I like that. Fly Eagles fly. Da, 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 da. Flag down.
You heard it so much that you could hum it now, and you can't get it out of your mind. It's one of those things.
Absolutely, all night long I'm thinking about that.
You hear it, then you go to bed with it, and you wake up, and it's still there.
That's a good fight song. The Redskin fight song, of course, is terrific. Hail to the Redskins.
To me, that's the best one.
Oh, that's great. We've got Winter indicating a personal foul against Miami.
Personal foul. Defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty and a 1st down.
And Sammy Knight, who was exhibiting some boxing skills there.
Dave Wanstead was talking about how they really got help on defense in the offseason, and Sammy Knight was one of the guys, and Junior Seau was one of the guys, and Jeff Scanina was one of the guys, and Sammy Knight here's 24. He takes one hit, then he looks like he's going in for another, and then the old right hand to the head and the old right knee to the midsection.
Yeah, that's a borderline ejection.
Yeah, they'll get you on that every time, and half the time eject you.
1st and 10, McNabb slings it into the arms of the rookie L.J. Smith to the 28-yard line. So for Donovan McNabb, coming off the injury last year, and he said it was well into the spring before he felt that good, and then he starts the year, and there's such high hopes for the Eagles, and they threw up a brick on opening night on the Monday night. They got shut out by Tampa Bay. Then New England comes in the following week after New England had been routed by Buffalo 31-0. Then they have a bye week, and he's slowly, methodically gotten to the point where he's going to start to be thought about in MVP terms.
Right, and through all that negative stuff, he always stayed positive, always had that smile on his face.
2nd and 1, and he's going to have to pack it in here and get sacked by Jason Taylor. And McNabb talked about what it's been like this season.
If you have the confidence that things are going to change, and you can kind of display that to the rest of the guys, then things will begin to move in your direction, the direction that you want to go. But I think if you have your heart in it and you continue to stay on course with your goals, you'll be excited at the end.
He's very cool. He's very measured. I said at the beginning, it's almost like Andy Reid. It's like this team is as close to its coach's personality, and I think McNabb fits that bill. I mean, he's unflappable. And McNabb, under pressure, throws, and Thrash can't make the catch because Zach Thomas got back there to knock it away, even though I don't think Thomas ever saw the ball.
Well, Zach Thomas knew. He was talking about it like 2 days ago. He said, I know one thing. He said, they're going to work on me. He said, they're going to try and get backs out on me. He said, they're going to try and get everyone on me and get me one-on-one. That's exactly what happens here. But Zach Thomas is all over the field.
He's all over. He never saw it, but he knew the pass was heading in Thrash's direction. And this will be a 45-yard field goal attempt now for David Akers. Coy Detmer, the backup quarterback, to hold it. And Akers, one of the best in the league, makes it easily with a lot to spare. So after Miami goes for it on 4th down, Philadelphia with a fairly short field, and they cash in to take the biggest lead of the game, 10 points. And let's check in with Lisa.
Well, Al, over the weekend, Americans took a lot of pride in the capture of Saddam Hussein, and 2 players on the field tonight feel especially proud. Jason Taylor and Deuce Staley both took time out of their busy schedules in their offseason to go on a USO tour to Iraq, a trip that they both told me changed their lives forever. They'll never forget it. Deuce said that he felt so connected to those servicemen and women that he felt like he was actually a part of their accomplishments on Saturday. Jason told me that people refer to football players as heroes, but the real heroes, he said, are the American troops putting their lives on the line for us every day overseas.
Thank you, Lisa. You know, we've talked to a lot of players, John, who've made trips like that, and it really is. It's a life-altering experience. I mean, especially, remember when Roger Clemens went over there and came back?
Well, you know what happens. I think that sometimes, you know, we use words like, you know, it's a war out there, or we're going to war, or, you know, it's a battle in the trenches, and you go over there and you see the real thing, and you see what these people are doing. They're fighting for the country. And you say, what we're doing is the game. We're kidding ourselves. And I think they realize that, and I think they have a heck of a lot of respect for what's going on over there, and even more respect for what they're doing here.
Shouldn't take stuff like that to make people lose perspective, too. It is a game. It's fun. It's entertainment. Travis Minor brings it back to the 21-yard line with 2:43 remaining in the first half. It's been a good half, and a half that's been unusual in the sense that each team with a good defensive unit.
Did you ever hear if you wear the color black that it's thinning?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe it, too. I think it is.
Well,
except if you wear something, you know, really tight and black.
Well, I was wondering about Andy Reid, why he's wearing a black jacket tonight in Miami.
Because he knows it's Monday Night Football.
And I'll tell you, we have a cameraman that looks just like him, Zach, and he's wearing black, too. He believes the same thing.
From the 22-yard line, Fiedler's going to throw deep, and a nice leaping grab is made by Darius Thompson up at the 41-yard line. That's a 20-yard pickup. Fiedler's going to come up without a huddle.
And Darius Thompson is going to run a deep in here. You see him out here. He gets an inside move here. Now he's going to come up. Then he's going to come in here under control, and Fiedler gets him the ball.
Fiedler was going to gather him without a huddle, and then they're going to regroup here because they've got the 2-minute warning coming up. They also have 2 timeouts, and they're at the 41. So after huddling at the 41, Fiedler fake screen and then throws short, and that takes us to 1:59. So here comes your 2-minute warning right now. Good first half, a lot of excitement in Miami, and with the $1:59 to go in the opening half, it's the Philadelphia Eagles 24 and the Miami Dolphins 14. And back to the drums, and you talk about our man Jeff Zachary, our cameraman, and Andy Reid, both in black tonight.
If you didn't see them both at the same time in a split screen, you would say one was the other.
Men in black.
Well, it is slimming. I mean, I buy that. I mean, I look at them and say, yep, it works for me.
I thought of something, but I can't say.
It works for me.
I'm speechless. On 2nd and 10, here's Ricky Williams up to the 44-yard line.
Now, that's only the second time, I think, that Ricky Williams has touched the ball since that injury. Remember that long run where he ran out of bounds, hurt that left shoulder, then he ran that screen pass, and he came out. I think this is the first time since then he's ran the ball.
Timeout is taken here And we can tell you that Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Friendly, nonstop service all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. By FedEx, you can always rely on the ultimate and reliable shipping. Relax, it's FedEx. Nissan will invite you to shift the way you move through the world. And Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Miami. Don Shula, Dan Marino. They've got a ceremony here at halftime. The Marks brothers, Mark Clayton and Mark Dupe, are the two great receivers through the Marino years. They'll both have their names put up at the Ring of Honor. And there's Bob Greasy. So a lot of the old Dolphins. And
a lot of old great ones. I mean, Don Shula won more games than anyone else as a coach in this league. Bob Greasy was a quarterback in that undefeated team.
Oh, on 3rd and 7, Ricky Williams is lucky that Michael Lewis didn't get there in time to intercept it. So now it's 4th down, and the Dolphins will have to kick.
Wanstead looks a little worried, doesn't he? I mean, you know, somewhere I think he has to get some life back in this team. I think that they lost a little something. You know, that their tackling isn't good. I mean, their offense has probably done what they have to do. They hope they can get Ricky Williams back. But their defense, I think, with their tackling has let them down a little.
He should be worried because even if they win out, they need help. Right now, they would be out of the playoffs. Turk the punt. Turk goes down, and a flag is thrown. They tried to block the kick, and Ike Reese came in and knocked them down. And now the question becomes, is it running into the kicker or roughing the kicker? If it's running in, it's not going to be a first down. It'll be 4th down and 2 because it was 4th and 7, but this is the big-time variety. If you just run in to the kicker, in other words, make contact gingerly, shall we say, that's one thing.
Yeah, if you touch him, it's 5 yards. If you rough him, it's 15.
Right. Now, he touched him at first. If it just stopped there, that would have been 5 for sure. But now you've got the secondary part of it, and that's where you've got the roughing. So you would have had running with just that first contact. But then the second contact spins him, and of course Turk, as all punters know, you know how to act, you know how to win the Academy Award, and he does a good enough job to make it look as if it was roughing the kicker.
Yeah, and Ike Reese is doing everything that he can to get away from Turk. I mean, you know that you have to take an angle in front of the punter, that you can't go into him. Once the ball leaves, you can't touch him at all.
So now can Miami capitalize on this break instead of Philadelphia trying to march down the field at the end of the half? Miami trying to draw to within 3. And Fiedler guns it over the middle, and it's caught inside the 20-yard line by Randy McMichael. He got inside position on Brian Dawkins and makes the catch to give him a first down at the 18.
Yeah, Randy McMichael just runs that seam pass. It's just a tight end. He's going to come right up in the seam. Just see him come off the line. Now you come in here in the middle, right up the middle. You get behind the linebackers and in front of the safety. See him right there? He gets by the linebackers in front of the safety.
They spot the ball at the 17-yard line. First down. That was a 24-yard pickup to the ground again to Ricky Williams, who gets down to the 13 with a flag down.
He used McMichael on the play before as a receiver, and then they brought him in motion and used him as a lead blocker on that play.
And you've got a hold here against Miami.
Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
They nailed Jamie Nails.
Yep, Jamie Nails is a left guard, and that's right where the ball was run. Here's Jamie Nails right there. You just see him. He's just going to watch him both arms. You see that left arm out there? Now, it's okay, but bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. He just put the left arm outside on Darwin Walker and left it out there the whole time.
Now it's 1st and 20. The Dolphins have 2 timeouts. Come out of the gun. And they send Williams to the outside. So in effect, 4 wide receivers. All in the pattern. Fiedler with a pump fake, buying time. And Jay's going to run to the 20-yard line before he's out of bounds with 46 seconds. Ike Reese forces him out there.
You know, Jay Fiedler told me something the other day. He said, if I run or if I escape, I'm always going to go to the right. He said, with this brace on my left knee and the bad left knee, there's no way that I can run or move to my left. So he said any bootleg, any play pass action, or any time that I have to escape, like that last play there, he said it'll always be to my right.
That was a 7-yard escape.
They could use that guy right there right now.
He looks like he can play, too.
No one could throw it better than Dan Marino.
And he's doing a great job on television, too. I got to tell you, 2nd down and 13. And that's caught at the 17-yard line by James McKnight. And McKnight takes it inside the 10. He gets to the 8. It's going to be 3rd and 1. And timeout is called by Fiedler to stop the clock with 35 seconds. They'll have 1 remaining.
Yeah, we talked about this red zone, and you know Jim Johnson, you know that he loves to blitz, but he is going to blitz in this situation because you get in the red zone, and it looks like Jay Fiedler knew it. Norv Turner and calling the play knew it. You see, here comes a blitz. They pick it up. They know they have to get rid of the ball quickly. Good pickup and good getting rid of the ball. Get back here in the shotgun right now.
So the ball at the 9-yard line. Jim Johnson. We're talking to him last night. Mike Martz is kind of a mad scientist, you know, thinking about plays in the middle of the night and all that. I guess if you had a mad scientist on the defensive end, this would be the guy.
It would be Jim Johnson. I mean, he said, you know, he thinks about blitzes all the time. And, you know, I said, you know, how do you do a game plan? He said, well, the first thing is the fronts. You know, we get the fronts, so we need to stop their run. And then he said, just about everything else is blitzes. And that's the way they play defense. And I think that's one of the things that has really kept this team going, that when they had injuries, they lost guys, they were able to plug them in because of some of the creative things that Jim Johnson does.
And one of the reasons they're so good when leading by 10 or more points is that Johnson's defense knows how to protect big leads. 3rd down and 2 from the 9-yard line. Fiedler on a roll, throwing, and the pass is caught but out of bounds by Chambers. So Chambers can't haul it in. It's 4th down, and in a 10-point game, you have to go for the field goal here to try to make it 7.
Right. I mean, there's no way. The last time they were down in an area where maybe they could have kicked a field goal, they went for it on 4th down. They didn't get it. There's no way that they should not kick this field goal here.
Olindo Mare, 7th year out of Syracuse. Matt Turk holding. Jeff Brown to snap it. 27-yarder. Ooh, boy, I'm telling you, that is close but good. He's got that. That's not a draw. That's a hook.
You sounded like a golfer on that
That's
one,
right.
like your partner hit one. Looks
right.
like it goes out of bounds.
Stay in.
Someone had to be talking to that one. I think this one's worth another look.
Yeah. Whoa, baby. It looks like it went over the top. Well, that happens more than you would think. You wonder why the uprights aren't extended another 3 or 4 feet. That happens a lot.
Well, they did extend them. Remember when at one time they were shorter than that, and because of these kicks, they extended them, thinking they got them up to the height where most kickers would kick them. And now, as you say, maybe another little extension wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, if he's normally clearing them by maybe 3 or 4 feet, that's a tough call. It's made by the official who's underneath that upright. But if you're looking straight up, you have to lose a little bit of perspective.
Right, and they put an official under each upright, and sometimes you'll see him cross-call it, where the guy underneath it won't call it, but the other guy will call it. And, you go back to the things that drive coaches crazy. You look at that 3 points and you say, how did it happen? On the roughing the punter, 15 yards, 1st down, put him in possession, and in essence, that penalty gave him 3 points.
That's the 176th field goal of Mare's career, tying Pete Stoyanovich for the Dolphin team record. Kick taken by James Thrash at the 9-yard line. Thrash taken down to 25. Been a good half. 41 points in the half. It began on the opening drive, a quick drive, which culminated with Westbrook going up the middle after a 59 pass play to Pinkston. Had set that up, but the Dolphins were able to get right back at 7-7 on the sneak by Fiedler. Sneak by McNabb made it 14-7. Then with Ricky Williams out of the game, Travis Minor capped off a drive to tie the game. And then Brian Westbrook is on the receiving end of this Freddie Mitchell pass. That made it 21-14. Each team has added a field goal. The clock is allowed to be run out by the Philadelphia Eagles, and the teams will go to the locker room with Philadelphia on top at the half, 24-17. So a good first half, and coming up next, the Toyota halftime show. Brian Scott with Michelle Branch taking on Doug Flutie with Bare Naked Ladies. Monday night at Mike, the championship round. When we come back to Miami after this message from the NFL in a word from our ABC station. Back at Pro Player Stadium in Miami. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Lisa Guerrero. Third quarter, Monday Night Football. Good first half. Philadelphia on top 24-17 as the Eagles seek a 9th consecutive win. Miami hanging on to its playoff hopes, which would be severely damaged with a loss tonight, and they'll get the ball with the Dolphins to begin the second half after the touchback off the foot of David Akers. So in the first half with 41 points, you had almost 500 yards of offense. When you add up what happened, the Dolphins and Eagles each with 1 turnover. The Dolphins almost 100 rushing yards and 203 yards for the Philadelphia Eagles through the air. 25 of those on a touchdown pass by Freddie Mitchell.
And we saw Ricky Williams, make that long run and then injure his left shoulder, and he's back in there now. And I think that's a big part. I mean, if Miami is going to continue to be successful offensively, they need Ricky Williams in this half.
He had 63 yards. Of course, 45 of those came on that one burst, and that's when he hurt his shoulder. And they begin with Williams. And Ricky picks up 7. Michael Lewis makes the tackle. Let's check in with Lisa Guerrero.
Boy, Al, did I get an eyeful and an earful a few minutes ago. Emotions spilled off of the field and into the tunnel at halftime with about 15 players from both sides, including the Eagles' Nate Wayne and the Dolphins' Jason Taylor, screaming at each other. They had to be separated, and even the assistant coaches were jawing back and forth. Maybe this is the spark the Dolphins need for the second half. Meanwhile, as far as Ricky Williams is concerned, Dave Wannstedt told me that he just has a bruised left shoulder. He's good to go.
And he's still tough enough that he can run into Michael Lewis, and Williams is fine after that last collision, but Lewis is not.
I mean, that's one thing about Ricky Williams. He does keep his pads low and finish off runs. I mean, there is going to be, when at the end of a run, if he doesn't go out of bounds, there is going to be a collision. And watch it right there. In fact, he didn't even really get squared. I mean, he was going sideways, Ricky Williams was, into that collision.
Lewis would be a very significant loss. He's a second-year safety out of Colorado. He's already assumed the role of signal caller. Very rarely does a second-year guy become the signal caller in a backfield with those people. But with Dawkins hurt and Taylor hurt so much this year, he's been singled out by Jim Johnson in each of our last 2 games with the Eagles as to who is really standing out. But right now they're working on him. So Michael Lewis comes out, but he mouthed, "I'm okay," in the commercial. Walked off under his own power. At least for the moment, he'll be replaced by a rookie from Boise State, Quentin Mickle. And as we mentioned, Lewis is the signal caller, so Mickle now comes in, at least for one play, and it will be a 2nd down and 3.
And the strong safety is the signal caller in this defense, because Brian Dawkins doesn't want any part of that.
He's too fired up, according to Andy Reid. And Ricky Williams picks up the first down as he gets across the 30-yard line. Take a look at the Dolphins. They're big guys tonight. What's been going on? Quarterback Jay Fiedler with 131 yards. Ricky Williams with 70 yards, counting this half. And he got 45 of those on that one burst in the first half. And Chambers with 3 nice catches for 64 yards. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. right over the middle, but too high. And again, that accuracy is called into question here as he throws it over the outstretched arms of Darius Thompson.
So now we get that first down pass. You know, once you get the run going, then they're playing Ricky Williams. So then you think, okay, first down, we'll go that play action pass. But you have to make that play, or as we said, then you get this 2nd and 10, and this darn near becomes a running down.
Jay Fiedler was with Philadelphia. Fiedler went to Dartmouth. John Gruden was there at the time, never got into a game. And now Ricky Williams up to the 39-yard line. So, as you suggested before, John, if you 1st and 10 is a pass and complete, 2nd and 10 is a run.
The 2nd and 10 becomes a running situation. And I'll tell you, this offensive line is playing a little better. Once Tim Ruddy here, he's the center. Now, they have to get to the 2nd level. You want to get the guy in front of you and then get up on that next level. Now, watch Tim Ruddy. See, he starts there in the double team, then he gets off it and comes right there and gets to that 2nd level. Of course, if he would have done a little better job when he got to the 2nd level, then they would have made some more yards on that play. And it was 1 for 7 on 3rd down conversion.
3rd and 4, and the Eagles just rushed 4, and the pass has gotten away to McMichael for a first down. McMichael to the 47-yard line. Corey Simon came in and put a lick on Fiedler.
It's interesting. You say, why don't they blitz on that down? Because usually Jim Johnson doesn't blitz when you're on this side of the field. He usually rushes with 4 men or sometimes 3 men and covers. Then when you get on the other side of the field and in the red zone is when you're going to get the blitzes on passing down.
Simon came right through the hole vacated by the guard, Perry. And now the Eagles bunch him up, stack him up, and a half dozen of them, knock him back from the line of scrimmage. Darwin Walker leading the charge. AFC playoff picture. You can see New England and Kansas City 1-2 at the moment. Indy would win its division. Cincinnati holds the tiebreak advantage over Baltimore. And Tennessee and Denver, the season ended right now, would be the wild cards. Even if Miami wins tonight and they go to 9-5, Denver still holds the advantage. So Miami would still be in a 7th position. And if they lose, they're really in trouble. Travis Minor is in the game, 2nd down and 11. And that pass is reached up for and caught inbounds by Darius Thompson. Thompson makes a nice grab at the 41 of Philadelphia to move the chains. 12-yard pickup.
And you see what happens here. They get in a passing down. They get close to midfield. Now you're going to get the blitz. They know that. Jay Fiedler knows that he has to get in rhythm, get back, get rid of the ball quickly, and he puts it right on him. See, here's the pressure. We said that they didn't, but they get about midfield. That's when they think on passing downs, we are going to blitz or pressure Jay Fiedler.
From the 41-yard line, 1st down. Fiedler protected very well and then throws, and it hits McMichael on the dead run, and he leaps his way to the 6-yard line.
Oh, that first down passing, that's one of the plans that Norv Turner's had. That we have to be able to run the ball, then we have to get them play and run on 1st down, and then we have to be able to fake the run and then get the play action pass. Now, here's McMichael. He starts on the right, comes all the way across, and just as he gets by that linebacker, Jay Fiedler gets him out and leads him out in front.
McMichael, a sudden star last year, was a 4th-round pick out of Georgia, but started a lot of games last year. 1st and goal now from the 6-yard line. Boot right, throws, caught, 3-yard line, and that's McMichael again. So McMichael's become the go-to guy. He has now caught 5 passes.
And that was the guy that on 3rd down that Jim Johnson would say, we're going to put Bobby Taylor on him. But what Norv Turner's doing, the offensive coordinator of the Dolphins, he's not waiting until 3rd down now to have to throw, to put Jay Fiedler in those positions. He's throwing more play action pass on 1st down.
There's the former head coach of the Redskins, Norv Turner. He and Wanstead coached together at Dallas under Jimmy Johnson on 2nd down and goal. Williams to the outside. And he gets to the goal line for the touchdown. Nothing happening through the middle, and then he got in behind Chambers and through the block he needed to get him to the chalk.
You were right. Chris Chambers did hold that block outside. We talk about the A gap. You see Ricky Williams trying to go to the A gap. It's all clogged up. Now, if there's nothing there, he'll do the next thing. He'll bounce it to the outside. His wide receiver, Chris Chambers, knows that.
And Murray boots it through. And so the Miami Dolphins have erased a 10-point deficit in a critical game for them. 9:44 left in the third, 24-24. Monday Night Football, we go to Oakland next week, where the Green Bay Packers, fighting for a playoff spot, take on the Oakland Raiders. And then ESPN has a special Saturday night game at 8:30 Eastern Time when the New England Patriots go in to face the New York Jets in the Meadowlands. Kickoff fielded at the 10-yard line here by James Thrash. And Thrash was taken down hard up at the 31-yard line. Let's check in with Lisa.
But Al, tonight at halftime, Dolphin legends gathered to celebrate two of their own. Mark Clayton and Mark Duper were inducted into the Miami Dolphins honor roll. And I've got the Marks brothers with me right now. I'm going to start with Mark Clayton. Mark, you've had a lot of great moments as a Miami Dolphin. How did tonight's halftime presentation rank with you?
Well, it had to rank up there pretty high. I think I put that right up under going to the Super Bowl. It's really a very special honor, and I'm really elated that I can share it with my family and friends and the fans of Miami.
Congratulations. And now over to Super Duper. In today's game, so many wide receivers are constantly screaming, bitching, and whining for the ball. How was it that you two were able to coexist and excel as teammates?
Well, you see, the thing is that when you're playing football, you can't be selfish. It's 11 people on the field. And the thing is, you got running backs, you got tight ends, and you got quarterbacks. The thing is, when you get the chance to make the play, shut up, make the play, then you be happy.
No fancy touchdown gimmicks or celebrations for you?
No, I never did do that. I want to wish my daughter, Alexandra Christina Duper, happy birthday.
All right, Al, back up to you.
All right, thank you, Lisa. The Marks brothers being enshrined, and right now, Terrell Buckley had a chance for the interception and might have gone all the way and watched it go through his hands.
Yeah, you were right, Al. If he would have gotten that interception, he would have gone all the way. Terrell Buckley is the nickel back who comes in and covers on the slot. He'll be right here. Looks like he's covering man for man. He just bumps, and then instead of staying behind, he undercuts that one. And when you drop one like that, you always hit yourself in the head with both hands.
The crowd is alive. It's 3rd down and 4 at the 36-yard line. McNabb gets a block, throws on the run, and again, it's that running forward, and Freddie Mitchell makes the catch. And as we've discussed before, he's so accurate when running forward, and when he begins to run forward, then the defense has to think about him running, so they have to come up as well.
You know, and they got, here's Junior Seau here. You see a 3-man line, 1, 2, 3. Junior Seau is up there, and he's going to spy. And you see him watch. He's just waiting for Donovan McNabb. He's watching him. Now he comes up there to make the play and misses him.
When he runs forward in this game tonight, he's 3 for 3 for 51 yards.
Well, that's where he's so good. You know, not only running the ball, but running and throwing it. And then he's so strong that you can get to him, but you have to take him to the ground.
McNabb gets spun around, trying to go forward again. Here he goes again. And nobody's open, and what a marvelous job the secondary does there, because McNabb had a lot of opportunities to look downfield, and wants a flag.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that anytime you play against a Donovan McNabb, you always teach your defense to plaster, because you know that once he gets to this position and doesn't throw it, all timing is off. And then you go into a scramble drill, and the receivers start running all over the place, and the Dolphins do a good job of plastering, staying on their coverage, not letting anyone wide open. They know that the play should be over by now, but you have to keep covering.
I love that description.
What, plastering?
Yeah. Putting duct tape on him. 2nd down and 9. McNabb throwing and too far for Brian Westbrook. He'd gotten free, but then Knight came over with safety help. He was there at the end, but the pass thrown too far.
You have to be so impressed with McNabb every time you watch him that, you know, his arm, his eyes, you know, seeing things, being able to run, his strength. I mean, you talk about a guy that got all the good stuff off the shelf. This guy got it all.
3rd down and 9 at the 46-yard line. The Eagles are already in the playoffs. But what they're thinking about is home field advantage throughout the playoffs. McNabb again. They put pressure on him, and Westbrook can't hold it. And a flag is thrown. Down where McNabb goes down. And the way the Dolphins are reacting is going to be against them. And Junior Seau may be the recipient. Personal foul against Miami, so instead of a punt here, it's going to be a first down.
So in Junior Seau, it was that same thing. It was that three-man line.
Roughing the passer. Number 55 defense, 15-yard penalty, and a first down.
Junior Seau is the spy, and he's responsible for Donovan McNabb. Here he is right here. So if Donovan McNabb starts to run, he has to go get him. So when he starts here and he sees him, Junior Seau is going to come up and get him. Well, I don't know about this one. He tried to pull up. The thing is, it was late, though. I mean, the ball was gone. You can't touch him after the ball's thrown.
He took more than one step.
One of Junior's teammates wasn't too happy with him, but that's his job. I mean, that's his job is to spy, and then he got beat on it a couple plays before, and he was going to get him now.
Terrell Buckholder to the 29-yard line, halfway through the 3rd quarter. How the Eagle big guy's been doing tonight. Well, for Donovan McNabb, he's up and over 200. That's 201 yards through the air. He's also rushed for a touchdown. Deuce Staley's only carried twice. And Westbrook has caught 3, and Westbrook has also run 4 times for 20 yards. Meanwhile, Thrash tonight, their number 1 receivers caught 2. Kingston's caught 2. One of them a huge one on the opening drive for 59. Seau puts the pressure on again and then goes down, and then they get McNabb down at the 46-yard line. And a marker is down. Jason Taylor was able to get McNabb, and there's a flag down in the secondary.
And that flag is going to go against the Eagles. You know, Jason Taylor, I think they finally realized that this guy is tough to get down. I mean, you have to take him like you're fighting a bull or something. And it's not like a normal sack. I mean, you have to drive him to the ground. You have to wrap him. You have to do all those things. And it's going to take 2 or 3 guys to do it.
Pass interference. Offense number 66. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Bobby Williams.
How can a guard have pass interference?
Let's see.
And here he is right here. Oh, he went downfield. He was downfield. He was downfield blocking. It was going to be a screen pass is what it was, and all that stuff happens behind the guard's back, so it was time that the ball should have been gone.
They empty the backfield on 2nd and 17. McNabb under pressure again, and that one gets tipped by David Bowens.
Look, there's 2 guys that are still playing.
One of them is Ogunleye.
And he just kept walking his tackle right back, and the play was over, and they just kept on going.
That's a good matchup.
About 10 more yards.
Yeah, that's Runyon.
One of the tough guys in this league, John Runyon.
And well paid. He broke the code for right tackles when he left Tennessee to go to Philadelphia.
Oh, they're putting better pass rushers at left ends now, so you need better right tackles. Look at him. The play's over. I thought they had their helmets hooked up, but they didn't.
3rd and 17 from the 38-yard line. And they run a draw. Westbrook not going very far. In fact, not really getting into field goal territory. And here come flags at the end of the play. So it's getting very chippy.
Well, and And John Runyon's right in the middle of it. You know that, he'll take a little, but he's not going to take a whole heck of a lot. John Runyon's not.
Against Philadelphia again.
Gounlier started it on the play before. We showed that, and then one play later, Runyon gets a penalty.
It's still going to be 4th down. The play counts.
After the play was over. Personal foul. Offense number 69. A 15-yard penalty.
What's the deal here?
Down.
It's always the second guy.
Yeah.
That's what happens here. Gounlier is going to be pushing right here. Here's John Runyon right here. And you're going to see Gounlier has pushed him. You see him pushing right there? Now Runyon, he just keeps going, and he just bumps into Sammy Knight. And he's so big and strong, when he bumped into him, he just leveled him. Watch right here. Doink. When you can just doink the guy with your shoulder like that, and he flops like that, you're a big, strong guy, or that's acting. But Gounlier started the whole thing.
He did. Well, it's like the second child, right? The older child, no problem. It's the second child who gets grounded. Dirk Johnson to punt. Charlie Rogers to run it back. Fair catch called for, made 14-yard line. 6:23 remaining in the third quarter. Monday night at the fight. 24-all. Ricky Williams closing in on 100 yards.
He's kind of gotten them with one play. We talked about that A gap, and it all starts there in the middle. Then if there's nothing there, if that's clogged up, then he bounces it to the outside. See him look in there, there's nothing there, and he bounces it all the way outside. Now when it is there, this is what he does with it. If it's not there, this is what he does with it.
From the 14-yard line on first down, the Dolphins begin this drive with Ricky Williams plowing straight ahead. Picking up 6 yards. It'll make it 2nd down and 4. Ricky Williams came out of Texas, won the Heisman Trophy. Most consecutive games with 10 or more carries, while Walter Payton holds the mark. Williams was 68. So in other words, that's 4 seasons plus 4 games worth of games with 10 or more carries. And he's on a pace right now in which he might break the league record for most carries in a season. 2nd and 4. And here comes another one, which is going to come close to giving him a first down as he goes down in a heap at the 24-yard line. And that's 14 totes tonight for Williams.
And he's the real deal. I mean, he's the type of guy that can do that. I mean, on one hand, we were talking about earlier how you have to manage a guy's carries, and on the other hand, you have a workhorse. He's your offense. You're going to play him. You're going to use him. And as Dave Wan said, I mean, they have to win this game. He said, I don't care if it takes 40 carries tonight for Ricky Williams. He'll run the ball 40 times.
He might have, too, had he not been hurt. Remember, he came out of the game for a while, then he went back into the locker room for a while. And now 14 carries for him. The ball's at the 25-yard line. And Fiedler under pressure, the most he's been under tonight. Dawkins and Simon. The tackle and the safety converged to knock him back.
And that Jim Johnson realized, okay, what they're trying to do now is they're trying to go play fast on first down. So instead of waiting, you see they bring Dawkins up here, and instead of waiting for 3rd down to blitz him, if they want to pass on first down, then we'll bring the blitz on first down. That's the 17th time that they've blitzed tonight, the Philadelphia Eagle defense.
And that's an 11-yard sack. It's 2nd down and 21 now. And Williams will get a few of those yards back as he gets back to the 23. It's going to set up a 3rd down and 12.
You talk about 2 guys that bring the wood. They just met right there. Ricky Williams finishes runs and brings the wood, and Brian Dawkins is a free safety. I'll guarantee you, he brings the wood.
This puts Ricky over 100, 102 yards for him on the ground. 3rd and a dozen with 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter at the 23-yard line.
He had that one real long one, but I'll tell you, they've been 100 tough yards.
Four-man rush. And through the hands of Williams, he drops it. And they'll have to punt. For the Dolphins, as we say, a win tonight is critical. They'd still be out of the playoffs even with a win. But you look at the AFC, and it's been an AFC dominant year. You'll have to win more games, in other words, to get into the playoffs in the AFC than you will in the NFC in all likelihood. Torque the punt. Westbrook has to receive it. Fair catch made at the 38-yard line. McNabb and company coming out after the 39-yard kick. 3:38 left in the third. 24-24. So who's the choice? Brian Scott, Falcons. Doug Flutie, Chargers. Monday night at the mic, the championship. Doug Flutie.
You always go with the drummer and the guy that's been the drummer all the way. That's the second key.
Yeah, because Scott had been playing the keyboards but went to the drums tonight, but too little, too late. Doug Flutie is the winner. And that pass is incomplete on first down, intended for Chad Lewis. So Flutie's team and Scott's team, for that matter, might be 3-11, but in Doug's trophy case, we'll go that Mike replica.
He had some tough competition, too.
He did. Joey Harrington looked like he was the early leader in the clubhouse. Andy Reid trying to play his own tune tonight, get his team into a position where they can secure home field advantage in the NFC. And Westbrook picks up the first down, runs into Thrash, and then finally gets taken down by Sammy Knight at the 33-yard line. Great run by a kid out of Villanova. A 28-yard run. And Andy Reid said, you know, I live near Villanova. I read all the local papers. I read a lot about this kid. And then all of a sudden, when it came time to draft him, Andy knew a lot about him.
You know, there's a big job over there, a big block by Artis Hicks. You know, that's the guy. Trey Thomas got back spasms this morning, the starting left tackle. Couldn't play. So they had to play Artis Hicks. They just found out before the game. And he has a tough job and has had to block Jason Taylor all night. But he's done a heck of a job all night.
Now McNabb throws again, and that's caught by Freddie Mitchell, who earlier threw a touchdown pass. And Mitchell takes the ball to the 21 and another first down.
Yeah, that's what Andy Reid, I think, gets out of guys. I mean, you know, you get an injured guy, and you get Trey Thomas, one of your best players. You know, he has back spasms. He can't play. You plug a guy in. You take Artis Hicks. A couple weeks ago, he's playing left guard. Starts for the first time at left tackle. You just expect him to play well, and because you do, he does.
From the 21 on first down. Under pressure, Agunleye had him by the shirt. And the flag is thrown. He had him by the shirt. Caused the errant pass. But did he
have more than a shirt in his hand, is what you're saying.
That's the question. The line judge had one angle. And now they're going to say intentional grounding is the call. In fact, he had the shirt, and he had the shirt to the extent that McNabb just had to fling it away. And he, I think, was in the pocket. And you can't do that when you're in the pocket.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 5. A 10-yard penalty. And lost it down.
Yeah, that's the thing that Donovan McNabb, you know, we talk about how strong he is. And as you say, Agunleye has a hold of him. See, he steps up here. Agunleye grabs him. But McNabb is so strong, he can stand up. And then he's looking for someone to throw to, and he threw that ball to no one.
Now Westbrook. For the 29, we were talking about Westbrook and the fact that Andy Reid lives in his neighborhood, but he said Tom Heckert was the guy. He's their vice president of player personnel. He said, this kid is great. We got to get this kid, and they did in the third round.
Well, he said because he lived in the neighborhood, he read the local paper all the time. They're always talking about Brian Westbrook this and that. And he said, geez, this kid sounds pretty good. And he said, I drive by there every day. I said, well, did you ever stop in and watch it? He said, no. He said, I should have stopped in, but all I did was read about it.
And if there's one play that will make the difference, if the Eagles are to go all the way, it's the 84-yard punt return against the Giants, which made that team 3-3 instead of 2-4. They haven't lost since. On 3rd and 18 to the end zone, and a flag is thrown. It's off the hand of Chad Lewis, who might have been interfered with by Arturo Freeman.
And if it is pass interference, that'll put the ball on the 1-yard line.
And they're moving in that direction. Pending the discussion.
Pass interference. Defense number 20. Because the foul occurred in the end zone, the ball is placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
28-yard penalty in effect.
That was that seam pass, and Chad Lewis was locked up with Arturo Freeman the whole way. You see, here they are right here. You just see him here. Now the ball's in the air. I don't know about that one. I mean, it looked like he pushed him. I don't think so. I think he has a right to play the ball too. I don't know that I really agree with that call. In fact, I don't agree with that call.
I don't either. First and goal, and now McNabb gets away from the goal line and then overthrows L.J. Smith in the end zone.
Donovan McNabb is probably thinking right now, why did I throw that one? I was there. It was only a yard to go.
Yeah.
I was back there. I'm big enough. I'm strong enough and fast enough. I could have run that in. Remember how he did it in Green Bay? Same place, same area.
And he doesn't run it in, and you have an ineligible man downfield for Philadelphia.
I tell you, that's the type of thing that...
Ineligible man downfield. Number 66 of the passing team. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
You know, that's an unusual call because it's Bobby Williams, and if you're at the 1-yard line, to be ineligible downfield, you have to be at least 4 yards into the end zone.
Watch who covers Chad Lewis. It's Jason Taylor, the defensive end. He was on L.J. Smith, excuse me.
First and goal from the 6-yard line. Deuce Staley is in the game. And a little shovel pass, and they read it perfectly, and the ball comes loose, but recovered by Philadelphia. So the little shovel, and it's Hank Fraley who recovers the ball. Trying to shovel it, I think, to L.J. Smith, the tight end.
You know, they ran that same pass last week, that shovel down here in the same area, and it looks like the Dolphins are really expected to watch Zach Thomas here. He sees that, he reads that, and he makes that hit. Luckily, old Hank Fraley was right behind the whole thing. But they were ready for that play. Zach Thomas was ready for that play.
So now it's second and goal. Clock ticking down. McNabb throwing. Another flag comes in. It is Todd Kingston who comes down with the ball just shy of the goal line.
And that was good pass protection because McNabb had way too much time.
Ron Winter has had a fairly active night.
You know, it's nice to see a referee wear glasses, though, isn't it? You know, there were years that they never wore glasses, and you knew, heck, some of them have to wear glasses.
Yeah, Jim Fossil said he needed a new prescription because he did the Giant 49er playoff game last year.
Play. Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 29. That penalty is declined. Holding. Defense, number 54. That penalty is accepted. After this is to the goal. And a first down.
Thomas and Madison.
Tell you, Zach Thomas is so active and such a good player. I mean, he plays the run very well. He's all over the place, but they do try and get him in the pass coverage. Now watch Thrash right here. And you see right there. You see what Zach Thomas does? He has to take away that inside. He can't let Thrash get to the inside, and he takes it away by holding him.
That's the end of the third quarter. Philadelphia 24, Miami 24. And Monday Night Football continues after this from our ABC station.
Warmer weather, then rain, then a cool down. Find out when tonight.
Al Michaels, John Madden, Lisa Guerrero. Start the fourth quarter in Miami. Late local news on ABC Sports Center on ESPN to follow. just to clean up something we were talking about before, on a play such as the one at the goal line before ineligible man downfield, you only have to be, if you're an offensive lineman, in the end zone. You're on the goal line or in the paint, and you are ineligible. So you have to be extremely careful in that situation. That's why the goal was made, because he was just into the end zone.
And anytime timing breaks down, those kinds of things happen. Here is where they like to run the shovel pass. They've already run it, and it didn't work. I would think they also like a bootleg here.
Instead, they swing it outside, and it's Correll Buckhalter who tries to dive into the end zone, and he's going to be ruled out inside the 1-yard line. So Buckhalter trying to dive into the end zone, but the ball was over the boundary before he got to the goal line.
Now, this is what they call a Wally screen. They just kind of throw it short and get one guy out there. Usually it's a lineman. On that play, it was their fullback, John Ritchie. And asked Andy Reid, where you got that word Wally? And he said, I don't know. And then he said, well, it's my middle name.
Meanwhile, they may challenge this call because the officials are going over to Andy Reid. They ruled him out inside the 1. Where's the ball is the question. Well, it winds up, of course, out of bounds. Well, after he had crossed the goal line.
That's a touchdown.
It is a touchdown because the goal line extends, as they like to say in our rules meetings in August, around the world, in effect.
Yeah, see, and he's in the air.
On the field.
And even though that ball is outside the pylon, as you said, that does extend around the world. That was a touchdown.
Did any part of his body cross over the pylon while he's holding the ball? It would be a touchdown. If any part of his body, here's the deal. If any part of his body crosses the pylon when he has the ball, and it looks like it does, then it is a touchdown.
Yeah, see, and you can carry the ball out of bounds. I mean, the ball can be outside the pylon, which it is. But that's that little Wally screen where they usually get like one lineman out there, a single lineman out there. This time, instead of a single lineman, you see the block right there. That was the fullback, John Ritchie.
If no part of his body crosses the pylon, then the ball is out of bounds where it crossed the boundary. But if he goes up into the air, and clearly a part of his body, the ball included, in his right hand is over the pylon in the air, then the imaginary goal line, as I say, goes. It probably just doesn't go around the world, John. I think it probably goes as far as like Sarasota. But in this case, it's a touchdown.
The one over on that side goes to New Orleans.
You're right.
It kind of runs into the water there if it doesn't get hit by a tornado.
I've got too many rule books in my life these days. I'm still trying to figure out the triangle offense. That's another story.
Does that go with a zone defense or no zone defense?
And two technicals gets you thrown out of the game. Ask Gary Payton. Again, that's another story.
See, here's the plane. The plane goes all the way here. So as long as that ball gets across his plane, as we said, it extends out here, so it can come out of bounds. He's in the air. So now as long as the ball breaks his plane and the plane comes all the way out here, then it's a touchdown. And the ball breaks the plane. That's a touchdown.
Yep. Yeah, Ron Winter has enough looks. The only downside to this is you lose a timeout if you're Andy Reid and you don't win the challenge, because even if you lose the challenge, I mean, at worst you're going to get the ball at about the 3-inch line.
Well, Philadelphia's out of challenges now, right?
They are. Well, no, whether he wins it or loses it.
Yeah.
And for Reid, that's rare. This is his 5th year in the league. It's only the 2nd time he's used both of his challenges in a game. And it's something about Monday night because the only other time was in the opener this year against Tampa Bay.
You know, and you have to do it. I mean, you say, why? You're first down. You're down there in the goal line. You got 3 more. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that second down could be a fumble. You could get a holding penalty. You know, if you have an opportunity to get one, you always take it.
A lot of stuff.
The runner left the ground inbounds. While airborne, the ball in his right hand. The ball broke the plane to the goal line. Inbound. Touchdown. Philadelphia is not charged in the timeout.
So as we suggested, any part of your body is over that pylon in the air, it's a touchdown as long as your feet and the rest of your body are up in the air. Clearly, that's the case here.
Yeah, see, and he said the ball was inbounds. It has nothing to do with the ball. The ball doesn't have to be inbounds.
So touchdown, Philadelphia, to make it 30-24. So Akers with the extra point. Buckhalter is able to dive in for the touchdown, and the Eagles are up by 7.
What's everyone talking about this holiday season? The Verizon Wireless The Return of the King Text to Win sweepstakes. Because with unlimited family calling anytime minutes, that's right, anytime minutes on the America's Choice National Family Share Plan, your family can talk about it as much as they want. Just text the word WIN to the number 5687 to enter for a chance to win a home theater system. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King in theaters December 17th.
See anything?
Hold up.
Bingo.
Now there's a better way around blackout days. Get the Capital One Miles One card. No blackout dates, no hassles. The Capital One card.
What's in your wallet? I know where you live!
The difference in carbs between Miller Lite and Coors Light is only 1.8 grams. You can burn 1.8 grams just sitting at the bar. So grab a seat and drink a Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light.
Critics are calling Seabiscuit the best film of the year. Magnificent, inspiring, and glorious. Newsweek says nothing can stop this story from putting a lump in your throat.
He made me better. You made me better.
Seabiscuit. Own and give the DVD and video tomorrow.
Monday Night Football being brought to you by the next Ford F-150 built Ford Tough. Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL, cold down easy. Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, improving home improvement. And Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. Downtown Miami. Beautiful architecture in this city.
Well, the fourth quarter here, Alan, what was the word Jason Taylor used before the game?
Desperate.
Yep. I think they're really desperate now in this last quarter.
Travis Minor from the 3-yard line. Up to the 24. This game is particularly important because when you look at Miami's schedule, they have Buffalo and the Jets, and they're fighting Denver. Denver has 2 road games, at Indianapolis, at Green Bay. So Miami's schedule much easier.
Yeah, but you have to win some games. I mean, you know, they looked real good on Thanksgiving against the Dallas Cowboys, and they get up and they lose to New England, which also took them out of the division, or winning the division, and they didn't look very good. And then they come here tonight. Offensively, they look very good. They need this win. They need this quarter.
Looks like about 9 spiders on the back of his uniform. Ricky's dreadlocks in their full glory, and Ricky hands the ball to James McKnight. Up past the 30 to the 31-yard line, where he's tackled by Carlos Emmons.
Didn't it look like he could have kept it out here, that he didn't have to cut it back?
Yeah.
He had 2 blockers. Now, I know one of them was Jay Fiedler, the quarterback. But it looked like he had some blockers. You see the fake there, and then he comes in reverse. Now, as I said, he has a blocker there and a blocker there. I think he should have tried to keep that outside.
Had room. 2nd and 3 from the 31-yard line. Williams has carried 15 times for 103 yards. Fiedler to the outside low, and it's incomplete. Chambers goes down, and the head linesman is right there to say, Third down and 3 now.
You know, Jay Fiedler's done a pretty good job of managing this game, and you know, all the blitzing and the changes that the Eagle defense gives you, they've really picked him up pretty well. And then a lot of it, sometimes there'll be a free guy. Jay Fiedler has to get rid of the ball. He's done a good job of getting the ball out of there. He needs one right here.
Early 4th quarter. Eagles up by 7. Fiedler throws into traffic, and the pass is caught by Chambers, who takes a shot at the 35-yard line, and Chambers is down. Semino and Carlos Emmons are right there, so he gets the first down and pays the price.
And then you see Chambers felt Carlos Emmons coming from the outside, and he darn near stopped running and just reached out to catch that.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want your quarterback to lead you in there. Chambers saw that he was being led in there. He tried to stop and just reached out and caught that ball, but he still took that hit.
It's a great catch, and a big catch, too. It's a first down. Injury timeout.
I was 90 seconds into a 12,000-foot night jump. You know, go time. I pulled the ripcord. Nothing happened. I pulled the backup cord. Nothing. So I thought to myself, what would Jared do?
The honey mustard turkey with cucumbers from Subway. Eat fresh.
Feeling trapped because you're attached to your wireless number? Take your number to a better place. Join T-Mobile, the best value in wireless, and get 3-day weekends.
T-Mobile, get more.
This holiday season, Lowe's is the place for appliances.
My washing machine just died.
Lowe's has over 250 brand name appliances in stock. Take one home today or we'll deliver it tomorrow. Even haul the old one away free. Lowe's has low prices every day, guaranteed. That's our promise. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing until January 2005 on major appliance purchases of $397 or more. Plus, get free delivery on all appliances of $397 or more after mail-in rebate.
Next Monday night to the Bay Area we go, where the Oakland Raiders will host the Green Bay Packers, coming off their win yesterday over San Diego. Very much in contention for a playoff spot. And as we look at the last play, John, it's almost like, you know, you're in a car and you know you're going to get hit from the side, and you're bracing for it. You're trying to hold on to your coffee cup at the same time.
Right, and then you're hoping that someone doesn't hit the gas pedal, and Jay Fiedler kind of let him in there a little more than he wanted to, and Carlos Emmons really laid it to him.
First down and 10 now from the 36-yard line. They work on Chambers, so their leading receiver is out, but their leading rusher is in, and he takes it to the 41-yard line for a gain of 6.
You know, Tom Ruddy and Jamie Nails and Todd Perry, the middle of this offensive line of the Dolphins, is doing a better job. I mean, I think that was one of their problems last week, is they didn't get any movement inside. And I think, you know, against this Eagle defense that they're doing it today, and I'm talking about right here, these guys right here, you see, getting movement, creating gaps or holes for Ricky Williams. Because if you give Ricky Williams a gap, he is going to get squared and get through it and make a good game.
From the 41-yard line on second down and 5. Ricky again. Cuts it back. Tries to get around the corner. Can't. Forced out 41, just about the line of scrimmage.
See, and that's the way you play Ricky Williams on defense, is you take away those A-gaps, you stuff the middle, and then you take away the outside. I mean, there's no place else. You take away this right here, and then you take away right there, because he's either going to go inside or he's going to bounce out. Now, when he doesn't go there, then you come up, force, and take away the outside. That's the way to play Ricky Williams' run.
Chris Chambers comes back into the game. Williams comes out on a passing situation here. Some Minor comes in. Fiedler in the shotgun. 3rd and 5. And the Eagles showing blitz, and the play clock ran all the way down.
And there's a number of ways a blitz works. That's one of them.
Offense.
Or a fake blitz. I mean, you have 3 guys creeping up, and you have to delay a game.
Right, and everyone is so concerned about it. You know, like what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And we just kind of watch half the moon and wait for too much time. Where's that moon going?
One small step for a man. 3rd down and 10.
Anyway, I think that's what, you say that Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, messes with your mind. We just saw a picture of it there.
No doubt. 3rd and 10 as Fiedler has it flicked in the air, and then it's caught by McKnight. And McKnight can only get back to just about the original line of scrimmage. And so the Dolphin punting group comes in.
Norv Turner was worried about that. He said, he said those 3rd down blitz, he said the Eagles get more turnovers on 3rd down than any other down. They blitz more on 3rd down than any other down. And he said, so the worst thing that can happen is you give them the ball. The best thing that can happen, incomplete pass and a punt. That's not all that bad.
Brian Dawkins is the man who batted it, and Turk's going to take off with it. And Turk's going to get the 1st down and a lot more as he gets to the 41-yard line. A high snap, and Turk came down with it and saw an opening and goes 22 yards.
Hey, remember Ike Reese came earlier and he had that roughing the punter? He came on that one, and that was very close to being blocked. Watch Ike Reese. He's going to come right up the middle, almost as a block. Turk had to bring it down, and then when he brought the ball down, he saw this big gaping hole right there. And then he just runs scared. I mean, he sees this. If he punts it there, it's blocked by Ike Reese. Now he sees that hole and says, I can get a 1st down here.
So Turk with a huge play, smart heads-up play by Turk. And now he gives the ball to Ricky Williams, does Fiedler. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 42-yard line.
See, Ricky Williams is running a little different this 2nd half after he injured that left shoulder in the 1st half. Just before he gets hit, and we've seen it like 3 or 4 times so far, he'll turn and take that hit with the right shoulder and not let him get a square or any kind of hit on the left shoulder.
2nd and 11 now at the 42-yard line. Fiedler rolling, throwing deep into double coverage, and it touches a couple of Eagles' hands on a pass intended for Darius Thompson. He was bracketed by Brian Dawkins and Troy Vincent, 2 Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, that was one of those things where you go maximum protection and you're going to take a shot. Now, the only guy you have down there to take the shot with is the one guy. Now, when he's double covered, you either have to try and get it in there somehow or just throw it away. Brian Dawkins is playing like heck tonight, isn't he? I said last night, I said, how you doing? He said, not very well. I said, how's the foot feel? He said, not good. He said, if I didn't have this tape job that I'm going to have, there's no way I could play.
He walks around with a walking boot all day long. And that is in and out of the hands of Aranda Gadsden. So they get a break when Turk is able to run for the 1st down, but really can't cash in except to the extent of probable better field position after this punt.
And I think that's the thing, that they didn't get another 1st down, they didn't get a score, but they are going to get a lot better field position unless Ike Reese comes up the middle free again on a punt block.
The Turk bangs it into the end zone instead of trying to corner it or pooch it. And he bangs it down to the 4-yard line, and that's perfect. James McKnight is able to touch it at the 3-yard line, and so Turk has pinned Philadelphia deep. 9:20 to go. Ricky Williams Monday night is a 107-yard rushing night as Philadelphia takes over at its own 3-yard line, and McNabb will pack it in. You know, we were talking about Ricky Williams, his Monday night, and McNabb, and you have to think of the juxtaposition. Remember in the draft in '99, after Cleveland picked Tim Couch, the draft in New York, and Paul Tagliabue announcing that Philadelphia has taken Donovan McNabb, and the Eagle fans in attendance went crazy. They wanted Ricky Williams. They needed a running back. They didn't pick him. In fact, Ricky didn't go until much later in the round to New Orleans in that deal that they made with Washington. And Edgerrin James wound up anyway as the 1st running back drafted.
And I think those Philly fans that booed Donovan McNabb taking him in the draft, I think they're saying right now, I was just kidding.
2nd and 3 from the 9. McNabb's going to take off again, and he's going to pick up a 1st down. So Donovan with 2 runs for a first down. The 99 draft.
With the second pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Donovan McNabb, quarterback, Syracuse University.
So that was the year you had Couch, McNabb, and then off the top of my head, Achilles Smith goes to Cincinnati, and Edgerrin James goes to Indianapolis from the 16-yard line on first down. Big hole for Deuce, and a first down for Staley. Up to the 29. Of course, the Philly fans, notorious, notable, all of the rest. Here's Donovan on the Philly fans.
Well, we've been real tight. You know, the Philadelphia fans and I, we love each other. But, I mean, the whole deal about it is just, you know, some guys have their own opinion. Some are true fans. You know, some are just in between. But the whole deal for us as athletes is just continue to stay focused on what we need to do.
One thing about the Philly fans, and John, you've been there a ton of times, as have I, in a lot of sports, they really know. Here's Deuce. And you know that fans really know when they react to the subtleties of the game. When something happens that bypasses a lot of fans in a lot of cities, and the Philly fans react to it. You know, Philly, New York, places like that, they get it.
Yeah, they're very knowledgeable, and they know defense, they know, offense, they know kicking game, they know the whole game. But what I like about them is I like passion. I mean, if you're going to be in something, you have to have a love for it. If you're going to root for a team, if it's not your team, you have to be a fanatic about it, and that's what they are, and that's what they bring.
And a lot of Philly fans here tonight. I'm told close to 20,000 bought packages over the winter and tickets. And that is McNabb hitting Lewis, who sheds Thomas and then gets taken down finally by Marion, but not until he reaches the 50. And so the Eagles have dug themselves out of a hole on a play on a drive that began at their own 3 and now reaches midfield. That's good for 16.
Right, and the Miami Dolphin defense didn't do the job when they had to. You know, this is a thing that I always say. People say that this is a good defense and that's a good defense or offense, and you look at stats, but it's what you do right here, right now to win the game. The Dolphins had them backed up. They had an opportunity. They had to make a big play. They had to get a turnover. They had to make something happen, and they didn't do it.
Staley, who has 3 carries for 48 yards, is back in the game again, and here goes Deuce. And that's the first time they're able to really stop him as Skonina makes the tackle.
Yeah, but that was a heck of an opportunity down there, and the Miami Dolphin defense has been a little disappointing tonight. I mean, they're tough guys, but they haven't tackled well tonight. You know, and that's the thing. I mean, that's the first thing that you have to do. If you're going to be a good defense, you have to be a good tackling defense, and they haven't been on a lot of plays tonight. Those are examples of not very good tackling.
Second down and 7. That's what Wanstead, one of the things he told us last night, he says we have to tackle these guys. And one of the reasons they're trailing and they're getting into deeper and deeper trouble is just that as John Ritchie gets brought down by Zach Thomas.
But I think that they missed an opportunity there. I mean, when they had him backed up, I think that's when they had to make a play defensively, get a turnover, get a stop, make a punt, do something. And the Eagles offense won that battle of the Eagles offense against the Dolphin defense.
Third down and 2, and this is getting to the point where this becomes a fairly critical stop for Miami right here. Otherwise, more clock ball. You have to start thinking about using your timeouts. Very key stop here. McNabb on a draw. Can't get the first down. Ogunlaye and Chester are there, forcing the Eagles to kick.
Yeah, but the Eagles did a good job of getting the ball out beyond midfield. So now the Dolphins are going to get the ball back, but they're not going to have good field position. Had they stopped it down there, they could have had great field position.
Yeah, McNabb is able to lead him to a 55-yard march. Ogunlaye is the injured Dolphin. So a momentary clock stoppage here with a tick under 4 minutes to play in the 4th. Philadelphia 31, Miami 24. 3rd 31-24 Philadelphia. Eagles trying to make it 9 straight wins. The Eagles trying to win in Miami for the first time ever. It's their 6th visit to South Florida. The Dolphins are 5-0. And now in to kick is Dirk Johnson. Charlie Rogers stands back at the 10-yard line. 3:48, clock ticking down in the 4th quarter. And they'll milk the play clock here. The clock starting again after the injury timeout. They'll milk it all the way down to almost 3.5 minutes. And Johnson's kick will go into the end zone, so a little too far. And that'll give Miami the ball at the 20-yard line. You've got another fight at midfield here, but no flag. Bowen's getting into it. Clinton Hart getting into it. And out of the 20, the 72 undefeated team up on the Ring of Honor, coached, of course, by Don Shula, who spends a lot of his time now playing golf. There's Don. Just dreaming about being the senior Tiger Woods. And how about Tiger winning his 5th straight PGA Player of the Year award, John?
Are you comparing Don Shula as a golfer with that? It can't even be in the sentence.
I'm saying Don is dreaming about that.
No. Don's a great coach. Don's a great guy. I mean, he's one of the all-time. When you think of NFL, you think of Don Shula. When you think of golf, believe me, you don't think of Don Shula.
No, you don't.
Love him like a brother.
From the 20-yard line on first down, Fiedler is going to take off, and he gets to the 25-yard line. The Dolphins have all of their timeouts plus the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, so they have plenty of time. I mean, the thing, when you get in this part of the field, the thing you're thinking of is getting first down. You're not thinking score now. I mean, you get here, then you get to midfield, then you're in the 30, then in the red zone, and then in the end zone.
2nd and 5. Fiedler having trouble getting his personnel aligned, or they're having trouble understanding where he wants them aligned on 2nd and 5. And that pass is dropped by Chambers. You know, John, the only thing I don't like, and I know they have a ton of time, but the one thing I don't like, even in that situation, taking all the time off the clock, is let's say you do go 3 and out, and let's say you do have to punt, and then you have to use your timeouts on defense. You're not saving enough time on this side of the clock. You know, and they let the play clock all the way down to 5 that time.
Yeah, and that time they didn't have their formation right there. So you say, okay, we're going to take some time off the clock to get our formation right rather than run a bad play. They run a pretty good play, and Chris Chambers just drops the ball.
3rd down and 5, the ball to the 25-yard line.
The Eagles have kind of gone away from the blitz.
And Fiedler's pass is picked off by Michael Lewis. And Lewis takes it to the 32-yard line on a pass intended for James McKnight. And so Philadelphia now at the 32, first down, and Miami is compelled to use their timeouts defensively and keep them out of field goal range. And they have one of the best in the business in David Akers. Getting a little darker in Miami right now. Critical play there by Lewis with the pick. If you're thinking about just challenging it, if you're Dave wants to take a look at this, there's nothing that we can see in any of our replays that would indicate that he did make the interception. Does the ball hit the ground there? Well, if it does, it's obscured, so the referee can't overturn the call there. He appears to cradle it here, then the ball goes out of view. So if Wannstedt challenges, he's really challenging with his heart, which is fine, except it would cost you a timeout. So
right, and he didn't do it because he's thinking the same thing you just said and watching the same pictures.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. They give the ball to Deuce Staley. And Deuce to the 30-yard line. Now Miami has to take a timeout with 2:21.
You know, we were talking about defense and good defenses and bad defense. Defense when you need them. Miami didn't do it when they needed it defensively. The Eagles did.
Philly by 7. 2:21 left in the 4th. Now, if the plays are run quickly or over quickly, Miami takes their timeouts. They can actually get the ball back before the 2-minute warning. However, as they come up in the wishbone here, a critical choice might be made by Andy Reid as they float a pass to Westbrook, and that is a forward pass that's incomplete. And that's a very big break for Miami on a number of fronts. Number one, it stops the clock. Number two, they don't have to use a timeout. And number three, they're still in a position here where Philadelphia, I think, would have to think very hard about going for a 50-yard field goal at this point.
Well, Andy Reid thinks that he's going to get a big play out of this play. I mean, he's going to get it out there to Westbrook. He hopes to get it in the open field and to get a first down. He doesn't, think that this is going to be an incomplete pass. And there's no way that those kinds of things should have happened.
It's the best thing that could have happened to Miami. The wind is swirling too. Keep that in mind with a long field goal attempt. They give it to Westbrook, and Westbrook is able to plow his way forward, but he's still 2 yards shy of the first down. Miami should take a timeout, and they waited a couple of seconds and do. Then they'll stop it at the 2-minute warning after the next play. And now here comes a very interesting call for Andy Reid. The ball is at about the 25-yard line. If you go for a field goal, it's a 42-yard attempt. Akers is very good, but the wind is swirling at 25 minutes past midnight, or whatever it is, 20 after midnight. And if he misses it, it gives Philadelphia the ball at about the 32-yard line. They're going to send him in.
And he's already made his decision, and they're going to go for the field goal. And that's the same thing that I would do. I think that when you get in this situation, it's a one-score game, and in this play here, you can make it a two-score game.
Anyway, the wind has really picked up. Of course, as I say that, the little flags on top of the goalpost hang limp, but there they go again. They know what I'm talking about. Only half crazy. 42-yard field goal attempt for the man who right now is the second most accurate kicker of all time, second only to the Colts' Mike Vanderjagt. 42-yard attempt. And the kick is good. Not only good, but gigantic. 10-point lead. 2-minute warning. So only one timeout, and Andy Reid with a smile, because he knows the Philadelphia Eagles right now, with a win, would have the #1 seed at the moment over the Cardinals in the NFC. Miami down by 10. AutoTrader.com post-game show. No, the Cardinals haven't moved back to St. Louis, John. I just said that to see if anybody was listening. St. Louis Rams as the #2. A long time before the Cardinals would be the #2 seed in anything, the way they're going. But the Rams would be the #2 seed. Philadelphia would be the #1 seed. And so much was made last year about home field advantage and the vet and all that. And all that gibberish about, well, Tampa Bay can't win a game when the barometric pressure is under 29.85. Home field advantage last year meant nothing to Philadelphia.
And it never does. I mean, it's a good thing. It's better than not, but the venue has never won a game in the history of football. I mean, it's nice to play at home. It's good to have the crowd. It's good not to have to travel, but you still have to play the game. Like Miami's at home tonight. And look what the Eagles have done to them. And as you said, the championship game was in Philadelphia. Tampa Bay goes up there, and look who was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, after Philadelphia had gotten off to a great start in that game and led 7-0 right off the bat, and they were closing down the vet. And the next thing you know, Tampa turned it into a rout.
You know what Andy Reid did last week? And I thought it was the smartest thing he did. After they beat the Cowboys and clinched the playoff spot, the first thing he told them, we haven't done anything yet.
Then he gave him till Thursday off. Travis Minor up to the 32-yard line.
But on any of the steps along the way, you can't get carried away with yourself. You can't get satisfied. I mean, winning a divisional playoff, winning a championship, because the one thing you have to do, I mean, is you have to win the whole thing. You have to win the Super Bowl.
Especially when you're in a situation like Philadelphia, because, I mean, you can tease your fans for a long enough period of time. It's like with Tampa Bay. I mean, they were the dregs of the league for so long. Then they got decent. Then they went to the playoffs. And then Dungy couldn't get them to the Super Bowl, so they got rid of him.
Yeah, and everyone's trying to project, who's going to be there. But it's really too far away, because it's going to be the team that is healthy and gets hot in the playoffs and championship weekend.
Right now, it sounds like we're at the old vet or the new Lincoln, because the Eagle fans are the ones who have remained to the end. And Darius Thompson makes the catch here. It's up to the 35-yard line.
I think Andy Reid was nervous about this game. They brought all the coaches' wives with them. You know, they have one trip every year that is a coaches' wives trip, and this was it. And I talked to Tammy, Andy Reid's wife, before the game in Green Bay, and she says, call him like you see him. I said, okay.
That's caught by McMichael, who tries to spin his way out of a couple of tackles to the 47-yard line.
So there's Tammy Reid right here. I don't want to circle her. That would upset her. But then tonight, she says to me, call him like you see him, except we need a little help tonight.
She wouldn't like to be circled?
She'd find some reason to be mad about being circled.
Ricky Williams makes the... Well, why don't you put a tiara on her then?
No, Tammy Reid is something that, and someone that I wouldn't mess with.
2nd and 4. Fiedler swings it to the outside. Chambers picks up as much yardage as he can before making sure he steps out of bounds, which he does at the 31-yard line.
But the players, the coaches' wives know, really how a coach feels, and I was surprised that she thought that the game tonight was bigger than the one in Green Bay, and that was one I felt they really needed. But tonight she won a little plus, which you're not going to, I mean, there's nothing, what the heck are you going to do up here? You kidding me?
At the 30-yard line, first down. I think if the Dolphins get down to about the 15 on this play and get out of bounds, they should go for the field goal first because they're going to need the ball again. 1st and 10. First things first, though. Let's see what Fiedler can do. And instead he goes down in a heap at the 40-yard line. N.D. Kalu is there.
No, you're right. They have to get the ball in field goal position, kick a field goal, and then go for the onside kick. They can't waste any more time going for a score.
And they had to take a timeout here because the clock would have been ready to go again on the referee's signal.
When you talk about plays when you need them, defensively, this is when the Eagles need plays. Offensively, this is when the Dolphins need it. You talk about pass protection, these are the situations you need it. Pass rush, this is where you need it. They're not getting it.
Take a look right now at the NFC play or AFC playoff picture. New England would have the #1 seed. And then Kansas City would have the bye as well. Indianapolis and Cincinnati right now would be the other division winners. Tennessee would be the division or a wild card in the 5 spot. Denver would be 6. So Miami, win or lose tonight, would be out of the playoffs at the moment. And Baltimore, even though they're tied for the division lead, would actually be in the 8th spot because the winner of that division is going to get a home game in the wild card, and the loser, even if they wind up with the same record, is probably going to be out.
And Miami needs about 10 yards right now to get in field goal position.
In a hurry. And Fiedler's going to go for the touchdown here, and it's incomplete, intended for Chambers. He was defended by Lito Shepard. 3rd and 18.
Well, they have another thought in mind, but I still think that's a play. I mean, you get in field goal position, kick a field goal, then an onside kick. You can't spend all your time and run all the time off the clock trying to get the score, because even if you get it right there at the end, then you don't have any time left to do anything. I mean, you need a touchdown and a field goal. You go field goal touchdown or touchdown field goal.
Right now, their bigger problem is 25 seconds and 3rd and a mile. Fiedler swings it to McMichael. Now he goes out of bounds at about the 32-yard line with 19 seconds, and it's 4th down. And here you have to go for the field goal because it's 4th down anyway. You have 19 seconds. If Mari can make it, that would take you down to about 13 seconds. Then you'd have to recover an onside kick and sling one into the end zone and pray.
But it gives you a shot. I mean, by making a field goal here, it gives you an opportunity to try an onside kick.
50-yard attempt for Mari. Long enough and good. So, you have 14 seconds remaining. You need to recover an onside kick and then fling one deep. 34-27.
And then your whole season may be dependent on this onside kick, and you're flinging it deep. Right inside the pipe.
And cleared it by plenty. That's a 50-yard field goal, more than halfway up the plane of the upright.
I think your idea is pretty good. It was your idea, wasn't it, to extend the goalpost?
Yes.
And to make them higher?
Yeah.
I think it's about time for that. Like I said, they did it once. Maybe they've done it twice. I don't even remember when the last time they extended was, but I think it's time for a new extension. Right here, it's time for an onside kick.
Well, my idea was also to extend the goal line around the world. I'd like to be able to pad to that.
Well, there's a little, a few bumps in the road as we go. A little water in the way and tights.
Anticipated onside kicks, and this is one of those, are recovered by the kicking team 17% of the time this season. That's 1 of every 6.
They kick it over here to their right. They have an overload to the right. Oh, and now Philadelphia is taking a timeout.
Yeah, they want to see how Miami was going to line up.
Well, that's a basketball thing, isn't it? Don't they do that? Don't they line up and see how they're going to line up, then take another timeout to call a play?
The last 2 minutes of a basketball game can take about an hour.
It's kind of like the goal line.
Right.
Go around the world.
It's seemingly a virtual hour.
No, but I think they do that, don't they? They look and see how you're lining up to bring the ball in and then take a timeout. And this is exactly what the Eagles did. They looked to see how Miami was lining up for the onside kick, and then they took a timeout, and then Andy talked to them about it.
Take a photo of 20.
It looks like it's getting hot down there.
Andy Reid on Mike Holmgren's staff in Green Bay, quarterbacks coach there. Worked with Brett Favre, came to Philly in '99. Right now trying to get his team a 9th straight win, and this will make it 11 of their last 12. High bounding ball, and it goes out of bounds. And with the new rule here, that means the ball is going to go to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, they used to let them kick it, and if it went out of bounds, there'd be a 5-yard penalty, and you could try it again.
Kickoff out of bounds on the kicking team. By rule, when the ball goes out of bounds, it belongs to the receiving team. First down.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
he didn't look real sure about that, though, did he?
Well, you know what? They changed the rule this year. So Ron went into a mini time warp, but here we are in 2003.
Well, and that was a good rule change too, because you would take a shot, and then if it went out of bounds, then you'd get a penalty and get to do it again. And why get 3 shots at an onside kick?
So the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that started the season on Monday night, September 8th, losing 17-0, losing to New England the following week, 31-10, then having a bye. And you go back to, this season, if you think of that one play, it's the Brian Westbrook 84-yard punt return against the Giants. And since that game, they have not lost. That was October the 19th. So pretty close to 2 undefeated months for the Philadelphia Eagles, who win it here tonight 34-27. And coming up next will be the AutoTrader.com postgame show.